Here we go, CrossFire, Thursday night. Very exciting night, by the way. Very exciting night. You guys know, listen, I talk about this all the time. You guys know I love zombie games, right? So last week was the great Halloween holiday, so I had to have a week off. It landed on a Thursday. That's not my fault. We wouldn't have taken the week off if Halloween did not land on a Thursday. There was just too much going on. It was just like horror movies from the beginning of the day to the end. Great. Just great. I hope you guys had a great Halloween as well, if you do celebrate it. But here we are on PS5 Pro release day. Great panel, as you guys can see, already assembled. Outstanding chat. Guys, great to see everybody here. Please do hit that like button as you're shuffling. Go ahead and tweet it out. Let people know that we are live. I'm still saying tweet it out. Repost it out. Whatever the new term is. It's good to be back. And after a week off, you really kind of recharge the batteries a bit, you know? And then when you come back to a console launch, it's just that much better. If you take a second, guys, and look at that outstanding description right there. Above it's the join button. That's how you become a Mooch Maniac family member. Appreciate it if you do join. And, you know, I tried something new. I've been watching a lot of my colleagues in the YouTube space, and they've been using the new goals. They have a goal thing. So you guys, if you see it in the chat, you're like, what's this thing Mooch has with the goal? It's I don't know. They say it's super chat goal, and then the award is to do a stream. I will do a Twitch stream. If you guys want to see something else, a video, whatever you guys do, if we hit the goal, I got to do it. It makes me do it. It makes me work harder on the channel. So I saw people doing it. I said, listen, if other audiences are digging it, I'll try it out. You guys let me know what you think. Great to have everybody here. The great Rob Jones, he says, let's go. Another great show ahead of us and the panel. Rob, great to have you here. And we do have a great show for you guys. Please do, again, hit that like button. I don't say it enough during the show. I say it like 3 times at the beginning of the show and then once at the end of the show. I missed the 2.5 hours in between. But if you do get a chance, hit that like button as you kind of shuffle in here. We got an outstanding panel for you. I'm very excited to get to it. You guys know, we start the show at around 7:05, and that's just enough time for Crap to finish. He actually goes through the kitchen. He gets a little bit on the plate. You know, he's got a hamburger. He's got some fries. I don't know. You do take the scenic route into the office, into the studio, which is fantastic. Crap. Great week. Yes. Sports. Yeah. Oh. Well, so guess what, Crap? You're gonna hate me for this, and I apologize. Everyone goes, I can't hear Crap. I can't hear Crap. Guess what happens, Crap? If you weren't muted on my end and we heard you, everyone on the panel heard you, the reason the chat didn't hear you was I tried a new setting, and I want to let the audience know this, okay? And I'll ask Crap to do a sound check in a second here. I know you guys couldn't hear Crap. I apologize. Everyone was saying they couldn't hear me the past few weeks that we were doing the show. You remember, Crap? People were like, I can't hear Mooch. I can't hear him. So I went and I did a little bit of reading on this mixer, and I tried to change the settings, which I just did before the show. I can't test it out. You know, you have to be live to really kind of know this. And I just changed one setting on the panel, and I put it on the same output that my microphone is on. That would mean that you come out the same output on the PC that my microphone comes out on. Guess what, though? Yeah, I know. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I do what I can. Damn it, Google. All right, nonetheless, the great Crap Gamer, what he was saying, and I'll give a synopsis real quick, as he says, great week to be back. The Ravens are playing. By the way, who are the Ravens playing tonight, Crap? I do need to know that.
Yeah, they're playing the Bengals.
All right, they're playing the Bengals. All right, good. All right.
Yeah.
Well, for fantasy football players out there, if anybody's paying attention, okay, I just wanted to make sure I don't have any Bengals on my team. And you know, Crap, you think I'm saying this because you're here and we've known each other for so many years. But, like, the Ravens are, just to have one quick second on sports, is the Ravens really do have a great front office, and the way that they put everybody together every year. You guys have a fighting chance every year, even when you lose players. Okay? Yeah. So it's a thing. It's a thing that you guys got. So you can hear him now. I know. Of course you can hear him now. I changed it back to the old settings. All right. Anyway, technical difficulties as always. The great Danelle Browning says, hey, you like how we came in New York and beat the Yankees down? New York is our town. All right, Danelle, take it easy, will you? The great Danelle Brown, everybody, from Los Angeles. Let's not forget. Jimmy Harrison, let's go. Best damn show. Then I got to play some games later. The great Jimmy Harrison is here. I had to talk Jimmy into it. Jimmy's like, I got to play some games on my new console. I said, Jimmy, the show has to go on. You have to be here, Jim. So Jim's here. Great to have the great Jimmy Harrison with us. I will go to my voice doppelganger, my brother from the north. I can't wait until he retires. You see, New Yorkers retire in Florida, so I'll be closer to crap, right? But the Canadians, you guys are going to be coming down and retiring in New York, Mag, where the food's just a little better. But Mag, outstanding to have you here as always, buddy. I can't wait.
Yes.
Tonight's going to be just full of news and emotions as we kind of saw how the community adopted the PS5 Pro. But Meg, how you doing tonight?
Yes, I am doing outstanding. You know what? As one of the most clipped guys on YouTube, I look forward to all the scoundrels in the background just waiting for me to say something with their fingers on the mouse. So either way, I'm not going to be that wild tonight because I don't have the damn Pro. But it's okay. We got things to talk about. And as for you, I don't know how the hell people can't even hear you. Even with the microphone turned off, I can still hear you from up here. But either way, it's all good. Crap, I have no idea how you get so stressed out. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, and I always have been. So we don't get stressed out. We just know that as long as Josh Allen shows up, you know the game is going to be ours. But either way, we got a great show. We got a PS5 Pro to talk about. We got a new console. We got some exciting things to talk about in the gaming world. Let's get into the show.
Absolutely, Meg. Well, listen, you got Crap, who's got a great quarterback. You got Mag's got a great quarterback. You know how you get anxiety every single Sunday? When you have Daniel Jones behind center. That's how you have anxiety.
Hey, he's a bargain, though, man.
Yeah, what a bargain. $160 million. Craig the Tech Guy says, Forbidden West is freaking insane. Shout out to the great Craig the Tech Guy. Great to have him here as well.
Can confirm the looks anyway. I'm not a fan of that game, but yeah.
It's a visual stunner, isn't it, Crap?
Yes. Holy shit, yeah.
Well, listen, I got to tell you something. I'm actually honored. He's been on the show a million times before. The great TCMF is back, and TC was on vacation, enjoying things. Where he vacations is where I also want a vacation when I retire. TC, I don't even know how I got you on tonight, because when there's a new game or there's a new console or a new anything, you're like, listen, love you to death, Mooch. Not this week. You were like, sounds like it's going to be a crazy week. Count me in. TC, great to have you here tonight, buddy. How you doing?
I was expecting just a more controversial. I was like, it's going to be entertaining. I feel like it's going to be entertaining just because of like all the just nonsense I've seen just pop up on X. It's just. So that's crazy. Why I was like, all right, it's going to be interesting. Let's see what the conversation is.
Well, let's see if we can get you into that conversation tonight, TC. I can't wait to hear what you got to say. The great Death Singer. Remember, guys, we're going to be talking a lot about PS5 Pro, but it's great to have the great Death Singer here because I think this might be the first console we get Death Singer to buy. Maybe. Death Singer, what do you think? Is there a chance?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No.
My PC could run Act 3 in Baldur's Gate 3 at 60 FPS.
Well, there it is, folks.
Can't do it on the Pro. Nope. Not interested.
Singer, listen.
The CPU limitation came in.
Yes.
If you can't run Act 3 of Baldur's Gate 3 at 60 FPS,
you're not having it. You're not having it.
I'm not having it.
All right, listen, guys, you got to understand something. You guys say this to me all the time, and I love reading the comments. I really do. But I absolutely love having Singer on the show, man. Singer is great. He brings another curveball to the show that we didn't have on before. So, Singer, great to have you here. I can't wait to hear your opinions. The great Jay Bari is in the chat. He says PS5 Pro is worth it. I love it, Jay. I wanted to have you and Persona on. I did reach out to Persona, but you guys are doing so much footage right now for What's Up PlayStation. I figured you guys would be busy. But if you want to hop on, Jay, you're always welcome to come on and give your 2 cents. And last but certainly not least, this is a man. Listen, I don't call DC all the time, okay? I wait for big events. You know, he's doing 2 videos a day sometimes. He's doing 1 a day at least. And then he does other shows and, you know, he's always busy, does amazing stuff. And like I always say about DC, you know, and DC, since you've last been on the show, don't think I haven't noticed. Your viewership has skyrocketed on your channel. So, you know, people are going over there. What do people always say, DC? Oh, whether it's for love or they do it for hate, the views are going through the roof when you're making some of these videos. So talk about video games. You constantly talk about great things that are going on in gaming. Hopefully my PC didn't just lock up. Can you guys still hear me?
Wait, Mooch is cutting out for me. Is cutting out for everybody else?
Yeah, Mooch is cutting out.
Am I back?
He's gone.
Am I back?
Yeah. There he goes. He's back.
All right. Listen, guys, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's time for me. You know, Death Singer, after this, we have to have an appointment. I'm going to need a new PC. All right, so at least I have a PC professional on here. But DC, back to you. I was just saying, you do great stuff over there. It's great to have you on the show, and especially on a festive night like tonight when we're talking about a new console release. DC, welcome back to the show, buddy. How you doing tonight?
Good, man. I have to say I am very pleasantly impressed by the Pro. I feel like it's one of those things where I feel like screenshots don't really do it justice. I feel like Mark Cerny's original talk of being like, it has 16 times the visual fidelity, like that stuff doesn't sell it. You have to watch it and kind of go, oh, I get what it is. So I've been playing with the Pro all day, and I got to say, yeah, I'm glad I got one. I feel like I wasn't won over until I had the controller in my hand, and now I'm like, okay, I got it. I was wrong. This is good.
Well, TC, that's exactly why you are the professional that you are, because you just segued right into the question I was going to ask you. And honestly, I'm going to you first to put you on the hot seat here. Okay, PlayStation 5 Pro releases today. You know, what games have you played on first? But DC, do explain, because I know you had a lot of back and forth on X, okay, formerly known as Twitter, and a lot of videos on it. Originally, it wasn't that you were like, I'm never going to buy it, but you were a little down on it. What happened from that day to where we are right now?
The biggest roadblock for me was the price. It was $700 without the disk drive.
Right.
And I still will die on the hill that as much fun as I'm having with it, I'm glad I didn't pay $700 for mine. My girlfriend has been playing Baldur's Gate 3 with me on the PS5, and she grew up playing D&D, so she was like, well, I don't have a gaming PC. Let me buy your PS5, and then you can get a cheaper PlayStation 5 Pro. So I did that. So thankfully, I didn't have to pay $800 out of pocket, including the disk drive. It's really, really good. So what I did last night, my PlayStation 5 Pro came to my house at like 7 a.m. I live real close to a distribution center, so I had a feeling it was going to come in really, really early in the morning. Mm-hmm. So what I did last night is I looked up the games that look best on the Pro, and I played all those games and created save points like right in front of all right, genius. Here's the boat in God of War Ragnarok. All right, let's see some web swinging in Spider-Man 2. Let's see some roguelike stuff in Last of Us Remastered. Basically, I got it. So the second I hooked up my PlayStation 5, I plugged in the external drive, everything's installed, and I can immediately start playing everything. And I gotta say, the Pro looks really, really good, but it is one of those like optimal entertainment things. People talk about minimalist versus maximalist. There's people that just want to play a game. They don't care about the frame rate or the visuals. It can be 30 FPS, 720p. Mm-hmm. If it's a good story, there is a surprising amount of people that would not care, This is for maximalists. This is for the people that want to have a $1,000 TV that they sit really, really close to with the best cool, $200 PlayStation 5 controller on their $700 system. And for those people, it is a very good product. But I feel like it is the niche of niche for sure.
Well, okay, so you hear that. Now, I will go over and ask TC. TC, there's probably, you might be the second most, well, I don't know. It would have been Mag if Mag had gotten his already. But TC, you hear what DC's saying right now. What's the situation with that? Are you excited about what you got right now in your hands? I know you've only had limited time with it, TC, but is it something?
Yeah, I've only got it for like a couple of hours, and it was mainly me trying to set up my surround sound system because I was getting no audio out of because I have both of them connected, and I was getting no audio off of one of them, and I was like, I'm still extremely confused because one of them is giving me like lower. It doesn't matter. It was I was dealing with the technical issues, but
did you fix them? Did you fix the technical issues? Are those solved?
Well, for the most part, yeah, I have audio appearing on all four speakers that I have here. Okay. But originally it was giving me a headache. But so far, I haven't really played many games. I played just factions and the finals. And the factions, I was just looking to see, does the PS4 enhancement actually do anything? It looks maybe slightly sharper, but again, that's a PS4 game. As for the finals, I ran into an issue.
I saw that.
I posted that and I was like confused, and I'm like, is this maybe a bug? Is it the latest update? I checked it. It's the latest update on both consoles. It's just the Pro that has this like inflamed issue specifically with one class and one feature. But again, that's a bug that hopefully they fix. But I'm excited to try games. Not really people are putting out there because like Horizon, I know it's gonna look gorgeous. It already looked gorgeous before. I'm pretty sure it's gonna look gorgeous. Last of Us, everybody's like, yeah, it's gonna look gorgeous. I want to see do games like Dying Light 2. Like I just started playing that recently because I think that's Pro enhanced. But I want to check out other games that are not normally checked out. That's the main reason why I have both of them still hooked up, just to see the differences. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited. Mainly again, just because now for the rest of the generation, I can just play mainly on performance mode and not really stress out.
And not feel like you're missing out on the other half of what developers put into the game. You know, that's one of the things I've always felt as well. And shout out to Worry Wart. He's been on the channel a bunch of times, known Worry as long as I've known Crap just about. And, you know, Crap, I'll turn it over to you here, because the one thing, I won't make it all roses, one of the things that I've always loved when a new console releases, and I think everybody on the panel is going to agree with me here, and if you don't, please, remember, it's Crossfire, please feel free to disagree. That's fine. But Crap, one of the things that I think that really, you see TC, he's going back and playing some of those games. Dreamcast guy goes back and he's trying out Horizon, he's trying Last of Us, he's trying Ragnarok, right? He's going back and trying these games and seeing how the fidelity and how it really shines. The ray tracing pops at now, if it's not a lock 60, it's damn near close. But Crap, do you think this is one of those situations? Does a mid-gen refresh need to have a new game launch with it? Or no, we can go ahead and take the games that we know are out now, games that you own that are better now, and games coming out in the next 3 months or so that you know will damn near play better on the PS5 Pro. Do you need to have a new game, Crap, or you're okay with it?
Yeah, I think you need a new game. I said the same thing with like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X, right? These are really good machines, and I think especially from the first party, it would have been good to have something there to really kind of showcase it. Because I know Xbox One X had a Forza game, which is cool because racing games look great, and it was a good game to kind of show off. Okay, here's a native 4K 60 frames game. You know, this is what you're getting. A lot of the games, like the list of enhanced game for the PS5 Pro, you know, it's a cool list, but you know, all that stuff that pretty much has been out for a while now. It's like, so when I was looking through it, and because I play mostly just the first party exclusives on my PS5, so the stuff that I have that's enhanced is just first party stuff, right? Like the third party stuff I have usually on Xbox. So, you know, it was a situation where I'm like looking for stuff that I had played, and it's like, okay, well, Ratchet and Clank, well, you know, okay, I'm going to check that out. Horizon Forbidden West. Yep, I'm going to check that out. Spider-Man. Yep, going to check that out too. So it's like, you know, I think that's cool. And here's the thing. It's like, I agree. Like when you watch the videos on YouTube or X or the screenshots, it doesn't really do it justice, and you need, you know, a good TV. If you're a person with like a 1080p TV or a cheap 4K TV, this probably isn't a console for you. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not going to do you any good. You know, you got to have a good TV, you know, and you got to have, you know, and that's what you really got to get to kind of enjoy it. And then you'll notice the difference, because when you look at this stuff on YouTube, right? And I sit there and I was looking at it, Digital Foundry showing it, Edits person showing it, and I'm like, man, I can't see anything. You know what I mean? It's like, but then when you get it and you're playing it yourself, you're like, oh, okay, I see it. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you can definitely see it. There's a substantial difference there, and everything, and it plays like performance mode, but looks fidelity mode. So that's probably the best way I can kind of describe it. And, you know, I think, you know, obviously going forward, their stuff's all going to be pro enhanced, and that'll be cool. Right. You know, it'll probably be, I'm sure they probably originally wanted that thing to launch with GTA 6. You know, but things happen. So, yeah, you know what I mean? And so they have some stuff that it looks great. Like if you're a hardcore gamer, if you're like one of us, Mooch, yeah, you know what I mean? It's like, get it. You know, I think that it kind of, especially if you can trade in something, because I know you did that too, like traded in stuff. And,
I did.
You know, you can get
that's why the $700. That's why, and we're gonna get into the money because you know, DC touched on it, but like the money crap when it comes down to it. You know, I brought back the I had 2 Xbox Series X's, I had 2 PS5s. I brought one of each back, right? Basically getting $360 a piece. So I ended up getting a PS5 Pro for I walked out not paying really anything, maybe a little over on tax, right? And that's the thing. I think a lot of people were like, I don't want to pay $700. Now, a lot of the people we've had on the show in the past 5-6 weeks are people that do YouTube, and they do exactly what TC did. They do exactly what Dreamcast guy does. Okay, they have legitimately put their old PS5, their new PS5, right next to each other, and they're doing play-by-play, and they're doing analysis, and they're going to show you on their channel and be able to discuss it. That makes sense. But I would say that majority of gamers out there are going to trade it in. I wouldn't really understand why you would keep your PS5 day one if you're not doing YouTube or comparison videos. Unless you're a collector. I guess collector would be option 3, but I don't know many people in the office that are gaming collectors. You know what I mean? So
yeah, like I don't have an original PS4 anymore. Like the one that I have
Right.
is just a Pro. You know what
Same,
I mean?
yeah.
I kept it. You know what I mean? Because it was a Star. You know, and then I have the Star Wars one that I told you
right, the
about
collector
that I
one, right,
found
crap?
cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I saw that, man. I was like, yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
was like, I'm not gonna pass that up for that price. But yeah, it's like I'm with you on that now. You know what I mean? Because the consoles don't go down in price really anymore. You know,
No.
it's like you can get them on sale sometimes or whatever, but for the most part, which is weird to me, they stay the same. You know, it's like, you know, in every generation I can remember, at some point these consoles hit like $199 or something, and that just seems like a pipe dream for for all this stuff. It's like you ain't gonna get it, and these consoles are still viable because if you look at it, there's a good majority of people still playing Xbox Ones. There's a good majority of people still playing the PS4.
Well, why wouldn't they, crap, when the majority of games are Fortnite, Warzone, Apex, and those games are playing on a toaster? So why wouldn't they? They
still release Madden.
Right.
They still release a new Madden. They still release a new FIFA. They still release, Minecraft gets updates. There's Roblox that gets updates.
That's right.
Apex gets updates. Fortnite, like you said, all these stuff gets updates. And so those people have no reason to upgrade. Like it used to be different back in the day. And now it's like, you look around and people are just I know somebody who got a PS4 like last Christmas, and I was like, why'd you get a PS4? And they're like, because their kid liked to play Fortnite or whatever. And
yeah, you don't need to go spend $700. Why would you spend $700 for Fortnite? Right?
Yep.
It doesn't really. Go ahead.
My older brother just bought a PS4 when I think he bought it 2 years ago. So 2 years into the PlayStation 5, he finally bought a PlayStation 4, and all he has is sports games and Red Dead. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm a normal guy. I work a full-time job. I run a tiny company and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm like, if I have free time, I just want to be a cowboy for an hour. I don't care. It doesn't need to be like 8K on my giant TV.
Exactly.
It's
exactly.
So
and not only that, I know people, Mooch, that played that college football game back in the day on the 360, right?
Yep.
And those people are super, super casual, right? They thought that they would play this new football game on their 360, right? And then you have to explain to them, no, you have to have either a PS5 or an Xbox Series X or S. Those are your only options to play this new game, right?
That's
it's
right.
like some people don't realize that, and it's like, you can imagine, like back in the day, even when the Xbox One and PS4 launched, like Xbox One launched, and it was like, here's Killer Instinct, Forza 5, Rise. If you want these games, you got to buy the new console. Yeah. Sony's like, hey, you want Infamous, you want Killzone, you want Order 1886, you got to buy a PS4. It's like we didn't get that right away like we normally would, and
that's right.
It shows. You know what I mean? It's like you kind of look around, and it's like I think the PS5 did okay, pretty good with the launch stuff, and some of it was cross-gen or whatever. But it's like looking around now, it's a little bit rougher. You know what I mean? It's just as far as I'm concerned, it's like
Well, crap. Actually, if you don't mind, write that down because I do want to come back to just how those certain games are affecting. I think the natural progression of gaming. I want to have a discussion about it. I don't necessarily think that's true. I do think that it's a discussion point. I want to bring up a situation, Mag. A way to bring you in on this, Mag. Because it's not fair for me to go, well, what do you think of the console? You'll be like, Mooch, why you gotta, it's like pouring salt in a wound. So I'm not going to do that. Mag is waiting for his to show up, which probably will happen during the show. That'll be my luck. But Mag, let me ask you this. So I was excited this week. I went ahead and much like I was just saying with DC's channel and TC as well. By the way, TCMF has a great YouTube channel as well. Go over and check his stuff out too. But I do want to say this. I went ahead and watched a lot of the big shows, the big gaming shows, big channels. And the one thing that kind of got me is I heard this across the board, Mag, and I want to get your take on it. Some of these were heavy. They were even big PlayStation channels. And I was like, and they were like, this is a great console. They had nothing bad to say about it technically at all. But at the end, when the person said, the host was asking the people on the panel, this was like a live studio, and they said, what would you say your final remarks on it? And they said how great it was. I'm not going to go down that line. We'll get into all the tech stuff in a second here. But realistically, I don't know why Sony made it. We really don't need it. Like, my PS5 original was fine. And you're probably going, Mooch, where are you going with the questioning? The questioning is this, Meg. If they didn't do it, that same show would have happened, and they would have been like, well, old Sony's gone. Where'd they go? They should, they gave us a pro. Like, I feel like you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't, right? I mean, at this point, why would, these are gamers. These guys play games all the time, too. And they're sitting there at this great studio, amazing, like 7 people on set. And they're like, I don't know why Sony even made it. Meg, what's your thought on it? Do you kind of side with them and say, yeah, it's a great piece of tech, it's for the enthusiast, but it's not something you had to have? Or is it something where you say, no, I actually think, you know what? This is something that even if a lot of people don't buy in on it, it is something they should offer gamers.
The thing is, at the end of the day, and I've said this a million times to a million people, that a Toyota Corolla will get you to work. Right?
Right. That's
but
right.
you can get there in a Porsche if you can buy one. You know what I mean? It's just a different experience depending on what you can afford and what you cannot afford. And that's always going to be the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
You can have practicality and you can have eclectic tastes that will take you to a different level. Now, I'm not saying that a PS5 Pro is like the Porsche, this and that, but it is an upgrade in the tech world. And after 4 years, I think it's time, right? And I think that you have to move it in that way because look at cell phones, look at everything else. I understand that a lot of that tech is incremental, and they do that on purpose to maximize profit. They're not going to give us what they have as the latest tech because they're going to lose billions of dollars in like I said, in these incremental upgrades as people do every year, whatever, whether it's Apple, whether it's Samsung, whether it's Sony, whether it's Microsoft, whatever. Of course it's necessary. It's absolutely necessary because there's always going to be a fan base out there who are always interested in getting that top-notch performance or whatever for that field. That's the other thing that I really have to emphasize here is that the problem with a lot of people is that they say, well, it's not the best performance out there. I'm going to buy a 1400, right? And then I'm like, we get it.
Yes.
We get it. I can spend $2,000 on a graphics card too.
That's right.
But that's a PC. We're talking about the console experience. So if I want to get the best of the console experience, performance-wise and everything else-wise, then it's going to be the PS5 Pro. So that's how you're going to do it. If Xbox decides to do that in 2 years or whatever else, which I'm not really sure they're going to try to outpace Sony in that regards. I think they're going to be more about access as opposed to, you know what I mean? Like a tech performance. Yes. I'm not 100% sure about that. I mean, I've heard a lot of things from people working on stuff over there, especially the projects that are not included with Jason Ronald specifically, the Surface team and what they're doing. I've spoken to people on that project, and that certainly is not going to be the performance that people think it is. What Jason Ronald is working on, who the heck knows in terms of power. But the thing is, it's always an option, right? And it's an option that I want. And it's an option that a lot of enthusiasts would want, right? Yeah, you know what I mean. Like DC said when he was talking about it, and he's like this is a niche product, and he's not wrong. He says, but it's a great product. So the thing is, if you're interested in that, then that makes absolute sense for like an aficionado like myself. I purchased a brand new. Now I don't game on a monitor. I don't game on a PC. I don't like to get the console's sloppy seconds. So what I ended up doing is I bought a monitor, a gorgeous monitor. Specifically for the Pro. Why? Because, I have big TVs all over the house. That's not a problem. And I have consoles all over the place still. I still have 1, 2, 3, 4. I still have 5. I still have 3 PS5s, 2 Series X's in the house. Okay. So I got rid of a Series. I got rid of a Series X, and I got rid of a PS5 digital, which I had, which weren't being used. So I moved those out of there, and I put it towards the PS5 Pro. No problem. However, with that extra money I had, I'm like, you know what? I haven't had another $1,000 here. I'm going to go drop it on a brand new monitor, and I bought this beautiful monitor specifically for that. Why? It's a foot away from me. It's on a desk. Like I said, I'm not a desk gamer. That's not my thing. However, I'm really starting to enjoy the idea of it, and I think that this is good. I think this Pro is going to look fantastic.
So, do you mind, Meg, sharing what did you get as far as the monitor? Is it because 2 people have brought monitors up to me. Right. The LG OLED I hear is one. The other one is Alienware made one, but I'm always up for a new one if it's not one of those two.
It's an S7 4K UHD OLED blah 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 at 144 Hz. I'll send you the thing. I'll send you a picture of it.
Send me the specs.
Yes, please. I'm not the tech guy that's going to like rhyme off all the stuff that was on the thing. However, I will screenshot it and I'll send it to you.
I appreciate
that. Here. It's right in front of my face as we speak. Beautiful. And what I did is I put it through its paces with the PS5. Like, I hate to use the word vanilla, but I did it with that. And even then, I popped on a game like Avatar, the Frontiers of Pandora. Yeah. And I was just like, my eyeballs were melting, and I'm excited. Now, I'm sure are we going to get into later about what games we're talking about? Or are we doing this now?
No, listen, right now, and anybody can chime in too, by the way, guys. I kind of go around, the panel, and then after that, if anyone wants to chime in, you don't have to wait for me. Yeah, if you want to talk about the games on it, go ahead.
So what I did, and this is funny, a lot of people laughed, and they thought, you know what, Mag, it's a great idea. I created my own launch lineup. So what I did is, knowing that this console was coming last year, and I said, okay, wait a minute, I know it's coming. What I did is I held off on games on purpose and didn't play them yet, specifically to create my own launch lineup without because I mean, people are like, oh, it's not launching with anything brand new, and I'm like, well, I'll make that myself. So what I did is I did not. Can you imagine the torture? I did not play Final Fantasy Rebirth. I did not play Stellar Blade.
Okay.
And I have barely touched Astrobot, and I have not played Silent Hill 2. The reason why I held off specifically for that, I own the games. They are in my library, sitting there waiting for me.
Yes.
And of course, they never went on sale.
No.
Sony.
No.
Christ almighty.
They won't.
Between them and Apple, I don't know what, you're never going to see a sale.
No,
Dragon's Dogma, I have not purchased yet, but I did see it go on sale for about $30 off not that long ago. I'll wait for Black Friday for that. So what I did is I bought all those other games and I never even turned them on because I want to experience for the first time on the Pro. And then when they gave the release date, which of course we all sort of figured to be around November, judging on past history. So I said, you know what? I'm not going to touch these damn games. So I played all kinds of other games in the backlog for pretty much the whole year. And I just said, I'm going to wait. So now those are the games I'm looking forward to the most. Funny enough, as I watched Dreamcast guy's video today, and he was talking about some of the games, one of the couple of games that he brought up, and I was just in heaven finding out that Stellar Blade and Dragon's Dogma 2 are looking and playing fantastic.
Yep.
And I'm like, I am so happy I held off on playing those games. Yes.
Respectfully, you're a lunatic for waiting to play those games all year. I respect it, but you're a lunatic.
You know what
I was going to say how he did it.
It was discipline, and it hurt my soul.
Well,
However,
be fair, Mag. Be fair to yourself, though, Mag. You did go ahead and get some platinums and beat some games that you had in your backlog while you waited.
I got a crap load of platinums.
You did.
I did a lot of backlog.
But I will say though,
then,
so wait a minute. So DC, let me ask you this. Just a fun gaming conversation since it's been brought up. So I didn't do what Mag did. I went ahead and started playing those games the minute they came out. And I knew damn well that a lot of them, I didn't know for sure all of the titles would. But now I'm probably halfway, like I said, a little past halfway on Stellar Blade. Listen, it's not just muscle memory from playing the games, right, in the controller. It's getting back into the story, this and that. I don't want to go back and do the whole game over again, so I've got to kind of get myself back into Stellar Blade now, because I saw, shout out to the great Jay Bari and a few others that are in the chat right now that have been putting clips out all day on X, and these games are looking phenomenal. DC, if you were talking to your audience, would you recommend that they wait like Mag and play the game at its peak performance on the Pro? Or someone like me that got halfway, then found out that this is going to happen later and go, let me hold on this, I'll come back to the game later?
I would say the only two games, I've tested like 20 things now that are like PlayStation 5 Pro upgraded. The only two that I think it's a mandatory upgrade so far are Dragon's Dogma 2 and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. The other upgrades are nice. Stellar Blade, in my opinion, already looked good. It just looks better. But freaking people that did not play Dragon's Dogma at launch, that 30 FPS would sometimes dip to 20 FPS during big fights. Now it's a rock solid 60 FPS. It is a much better experience. And now there's all these different graphics modes for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, where you can actually, there's like an increment gauge of like, all right, I want it to be 60 FPS with smooth graphics, or 60 FPS with sharp graphics, or just pure 4K, but 30 FPS. So that's the only ones that I think it's more mandatory. Everything else, if you beat it, I think it's worth beating again, especially with Stellar Blade, because it has the boss rush mode. So since I beat that when it came out, now I'm just playing the boss rush and soaking up the cool visuals.
Oh, so you know what? Let me ask you this, DC. Well, I want to get your take on this too. Shout out to Ricardo117. This is what I was talking about, and I do have it as a topic. I have it as number 2 for you guys on the list today. I'll kind of blend 1 and 2 together about a lot of people now that they have the device in their hand, and I saw a lot of clips, and these are from people that don't have YouTube channels. These are gamers that just turned on their camera, filmed a quick 30, 40 seconds, a minute at most on X and showed. Ricardo says, I think some gamers are not happy about paying $700 for a minimum upgrade. The reason and by the way, no slight to Ricardo. Shout out to Ricardo117. Glad to have you here again, Ricardo. But I want to say, that's not his fault. A lot of the media and a lot of the reviews, I watched a ton of them in the past 48 hours, are saying what Ricardo's hearing, okay? Because he doesn't have one. So here's the point. The point of the matter is, when people say that and they say, well, I don't know why they made a console like this. It's just a minimum, it was 40, 50 frames. Now it's 58, maybe a little over 60. I noticed some ray tracing. But the thing is, though, this console just came out today. People compare it, and we're going to get to Death Singer here because Death Singer is going to give a good DLSS example here. But I mean, DC, my question for you is that just because I know you talk to a lot of people, in the YouTube world, and these reviews, I'm not saying the reviewers that said that are incorrect, but it's just slightly misleading because I do think that the console does more than that slight upgrade. And we're on day one. DLSS didn't show its true power, and we'll find out from Death Singer in a second. About till it got to 3.0. 1.0 was good. 3.0 is what everyone's drooling over. What happens when PSSR in 2 years hits their 2.0? What happens when this thing can go one step further with what it can do? You know what I mean, DC? So I don't know if necessarily some of these reviews that you're seeing 7s or you're seeing 7.5, 6s, 8s, and they're saying, well, again, it's just people keep going back to the dollar amount. And I want to remind people that if you have a Best Buy around you or if you have a GameStop around you, I mean, I think you're still going to get somewhere in the vicinity of, even if I'm way off, $300 for your PS5. I mean, it's not the $700 price tag, first of all, unless you want to have them both. And if you want to have them both, it is what it is. Then you're choosing that path, and money is clearly not an option for you. But I mean, DC, what do you think when you hear that? It's not a slight upgrade. You think it's a slight, or I shouldn't say it's not. What's your take on that?
So I would say it is a slight upgrade. I feel like the biggest
slight upgrade right now, though, right, DC? When you say slight upgrade right now, we don't know what's coming down the pike, in a couple of years.
So, games will look better from here, further games down the line. I think the biggest problem with buying this day one is the problem we had with buying the PlayStation 5 day one, which is just the lack of games that are fully using that power.
Okay.
Like, currently, they're saying 90 games are being affected by Game Boost. 90 games have been upgraded by the PlayStation 5 Pro, but a lot of the ones I've tested don't really look that different. Like, I'm playing Diablo 4 right now because I'm being a bad podcast guest, and while I'm playing it, they're saying this is upgraded by the Pro. I have 700 hours in Diablo 4. I've got a big Diablo 4 tattoo, and let me tell you, I can't tell a pixel of difference. But I do think it's going to get better from there. I have talked to developers, and they were like popping party balloons, freaking out. They were so happy about the extra power of the Pro. And I said, I don't really get it. And one of my friends, I have his thing. I'm looking at the thing he sent me. He said, think of this console as a work in progress. Remember when Spider-Man came out on the PlayStation 5? Originally, when the remaster came out, it got several patches that made it run better and better and better. Smoother frame rate, better visuals and stuff like that. The ability to have ray tracing on and 60 FPS. The PlayStation 5 Pro will be like that. We're just getting started. So I think that's the big thing, is that, the stuff that's upgraded on the Pro now is a small handful, but I do think once we start seeing like GTA 6 stuff or something, then people are going to start to really go, oh, I'm glad I adopted this early. So if somebody's like trying to save up and, I'm missing out on the Pro, I don't think you're really missing out. It is a very cool optional upgrade.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, what do you guys think about that? Does anybody have a rebuttal?
Yeah, no, I don't have a rebuttal. I was just going to actually kind of piggyback off the idea that I think that at this point, a lot of people are looking at this as the final result of this console, not realizing that this is actually a future proofing of this console. The fact that Sony said that they're going to support this for upwards of 10 years means that they have faith in this product moving forward, and of course, its evolution. Of the technology that they're going to utilize with this moving forward. That doesn't mean a PS6 is coming in 10 years, everybody. It just means that the PS6 is going to come in, like, let's say 4 years, and then they will still continue to support the Pro, just like they did with the PS4 Pro into the PS5 generation, right? So it's still going to be there, but the thing is, you're future-proofing yourself, because what's going to happen is the second half of this generation, for Sony specifically, hasn't kicked off yet. There's a bunch of stuff coming that haven't been, starting with Ghost of Yotai there, and then from there and on, is that you're going to get that whole second generation, the second half of this generation, it's all going to be Pro enhanced. And that is where you're going to start really seeing, the fruits of this labor, right? So that's, it's not just here. People are like, well, it's got nothing. And I'm like, guys, it's not what it's for. It's not for that. That's just like a little bit of a, here you go. You're going to get a boost on all these other games or whatever, especially for people who haven't played those games. Mm-hmm. What you're also doing is that they're also boosting those sales as well. So, for example, like someone like me who did not play Stellar Blade yet and Dragon's Dogma yet specifically, then what they do is they market those games again. So they give them a second sales boost with the new console, right? So if you sold 1.5 million, let's say, you might be able to squeeze out another 500,000 or whatever of people who bought the Pro are going to get these games. So you're getting a second life in sales for these games, and they're going to do that to hold over as you're getting that the second half of this generation's games will be specifically tailored for this PS5 Pro. That's where you're going to see the magic of this thing. And of course, let's not forget the big third-party outlier here. It's never going to be anything else other than GTA 6. If this thing can perform even 10 frames above, 15 frames above its competition, then you're going to have that is really going to tip the scales in the second half of this gen, where people are like, well, Sony's a little bit behind, the PS4 sales or whatever. That's where you're going to tip over to 100 million.
Yeah,
right.
So,
you're going to have that tipping point where it'll put them way over the top and then put them into that stratosphere. But it has to perform, and I think it will, because with the marketing rights and everything else, and they're working closely with them. I'm telling you now, that's going to be the outlier that's going to really, really sell this thing. And wait for those bundles next fall. Are you kidding me?
Oh, yeah. No, I think you're right. I think when you get to the new games coming out or new Sony IP that's coming out, things of that nature, I think that's when we'll really see it blossom. Shout out to the great Gaming with Persona. Game of Persona's here. He says, PS5 Pro is meant to be a complement to an existing console generation. It's a better experience for those looking for the most out of the console. I think that's really I think that's outstandingly put.
Perfectly said.
It really is. So that really kind of explains it. But Ricardo comes back. He says, I think that if PS5 Pro costs $600 and the PS5 costs $400, it would sell better and faster. Ricardo, it's hard to argue that if we just simply say we drop the price, it would do better. I think that's a fact. That's a given. This thing is $700. It is what it is. Now, unfortunately, like Crap was saying, we don't see a lot of these consoles really go on sale. So for the time being, that's going to be the price for a bit. So let me go to the great Death Singer. Singer, before we, and I know you're probably going to say, geez, we're talking about a lot. Tonight's a big console night, that. But Singer, it does kind of tie in a bit here. Shout out to the great Jay Bari. He says, Singer, my PS5 Pro over your PC. Come on home. So Jay Bari wants you to come home to the console. Singer, I know that may not happen tonight.
Absolutely not. Because it's like, but the one thing you brought up at PSSR is, now, you'll notice this as they get better. DLSS does suffer from this slightly with frame generation.
Yeah.
It was slightly noticeable in DLSS 2, but in DLSS 3, it's a bit more noticeable. When you turn on the frame gen and all that, you get this latency. Now, fortunately, NVIDIA thought ahead of time, and NVIDIA Reflex, where every DLSS 3 game needs to support Reflex as well, because it's their own CPU based latency curtain tech, right?
Yes.
So you run them in tandem, so you don't get, because it's essentially fake frames. But so when they get up into doing frame gen and stuff on the console, they're gonna have to think of something to cut that out, because you will notice it. And so hope for the best. So far, what people have been showing, I expected the first party to be great.
Okay.
A lot of people, I was chatting to some people, and they're playing it currently. They really can't notice a visual difference, which is to be expected. Like playing Spider-Man 2, he's looking at it, and it's like, it looks like what I got on the PS5. Maybe a tiny bit sharper.
Now I gotta say, I gotta say though, Singer. I've told you this for months now, that your gaming Discord is one Discord I'd love to join, because you're always talking great about games. I don't know if your Discord's got this one right, because everybody from Digital Foundry on is saying that there is a noticeable difference. Even people on the panel here are saying you've got to kind of go see it for yourself. Are these people you're saying, do they have it, or they're just saying from what I'm seeing in reviews?
Yes, they do have it, and you know them as well who have it.
And they're saying they don't see much. Everyone I've talked to today has said that they've seen quite a bit to sell them on.
It depends on the game. Rebirth, yes.
Okay, that's fair.
Spider-Man 2, no. right? So it's
I
game
think
on game
Spider-Man 2
basis.
I think Spider-Man 2 is one of the better looking ones, but I do agree that the ones that look the same far outnumber the ones that look upgraded. I think Spider-Man 2, though, with the reflections, they put in like a new reflection engine or something. It's insane. But sorry, go on.
Oh, yeah, exactly. There's like little touch-up differences, but you're not getting a big jump. Like Rebirth, for example, you look at the difference, you're like, okay, I see it.
Mm-hmm.
But if you put Spider-Man 2 or Horizon is a gorgeous-looking game anyway, right? Regardless of the Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, you put the Pro on there, but you're getting diminishing returns on that. It's like, it looks a bit better. What you're looking for is the performance upgrade. Because, shout out to Digital Foundry, when they were running Elden Ring, the PS5 Pro was staying really, really close to that 60 most of the time. That's where you're going to get, I think, the biggest upgrade. Sure, the ray tracing stuff is nice. I haven't got to that part of their video, so I don't know exactly how well the ray tracing is. But it's going to be game by game basis, I think, with the PS5 Pro. Plus, you also have to rely on third party taking full advantage of it. But then we know how third party is. They're kind of hit and miss when it comes to taking advantage. Now, I fully expect Sony first party, they're going to blow it out the water. It's their console.
Mm-hmm.
I expect them to. But the third party is, like, when I saw the Baldur's Gate 3 performance, I was like, okay. The Dragon's Dogma 2, I was like, okay, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to have those companies, those third-party companies that partner with Sony traditionally, I think, are the ones who are going to take advantage. You mentioned Dragon's Dogma 2, you're talking Capcom. I also understand that from DC's video today that the Resident Evil Village specifically and Resident Evil 4, they're going to be running at 4K 120.
Yeah.
And that is... That is extraordinary. As Resident Evil is my favorite series of all time. So to be able to go back and play those, I will dive back and play those. So I could see their partners like Capcom, and then of course you got Square. Now the only thing is, does anybody know here in the panel? Sorry, Destiny, I didn't want to jump in here, but I wanted to ask: Final Fantasy 16. Is there any word on some of the issues that were maybe ironed out for this console?
From what I've heard and from what I've seen, because I tested it a bit, it's the exact same. And the rumor on the street is that 16, obviously they publicly said it didn't sell up to expectations. It sounds like when they got a dev kit for the PS5 Pro, like, all right, put the Rebirth team on there because that thing's still selling, but don't bother fixing up 16, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Okay.
That's surprising.
I think, Mag, you made a point, though. And like I said, it's not a sales pitch by no means. I see a few people saying that I think... one gentleman in the chat just said, I think, Mooch, the reason a lot of people are so anti it is just the price. They're being a little bit negative on it because of the price. I think when it comes down to it, though, Mag just made a good point. It's not always just the ray tracing. It's not always just the fact that it looks better or slightly better here or there. It's also the fact that it's going to be playing games in performance mode better. They're going to get more stable frame rates. They can get that 120 FPS. That was not available prior to. There's a lot to it, and this is day one. That's the thing I want to keep reminding anybody. If I say it a few times tonight, it's because anything that's got this type of technology in it really does need to have growth. You know what I mean? And that's what I think, and that's Singer, what I was going to ask you is DLSS one, a friend of mine that works with me, he's much like yourself. I mean, he has a console in his house, but it's basically a prop. He's a PC guy. He's been there day and date since I've known him, almost 10 years, PC gamer, period. And he said, DLSS gets a lot of praise today. He goes, 1 was good when it came out, but he says it's 3 that everybody's drooling over. And I mean, when it comes down to it, if you say, okay, there's noticeable difference, you may say there's not a huge difference. Do you still see the upswing here as we go through the rest of this generation? Like Persona said, this is just a better experience for those looking for the most out of the console right now until we get to a PS6.
I mean, it is. It's if you're a console only gamer and you don't have like a capable PC and you play on console, PS5 Pro is no brainer if you want the best performance, right? If you just want to sit on your console or TV, I'll recommend you get the PS5 Pro, right? I'm not going to recommend you an Xbox, because if you're looking for the best performance, you're going to get it over there, right?
Okay.
Now, but it's like, sure, PSSR will upgrade, as will all of those technologies have, but it's how they implement it and how well they do it, because we still have yet to see where it is. I think it's between DLSS. It's better than FSR, but it's less than DLSS, which makes sense. DLSS is on its 3rd generation, probably soon to be 4th generation. So we'll just have to see how it goes, and hopefully they utilize it, because the way you utilize it on PC is take, for example, you're running Cyberpunk maximum settings on native 4K on PC. You've got the ray tracing on Psycho, which is the ultimate ray tracing mode. You're like 40 FPS. You're like, okay. Then you throw on DLSS 3 with frame gen on in quality. Now you're 100. Now you go to performance. Now you're 130. So the performance gain is massive. So if they could get the PSSR to that level, then you're just gonna have lots of games. Currently,
you're
the way I see it,
talking about frame generation there, are you not?
Well, yeah, I am talking about frame generation, because
just for anybody in the panel who doesn't know, frame generation doesn't actually improve performance. It just adds.
Well, no, it just gives you fake frames. Yeah, it's the same.
Yeah, just so anybody knows.
Yeah,
but
it's the same thing
So on a note on that, I believe I think I covered this recently. The Descendant is gonna combine frame generation from AMD with PSSR for their future update. That's gonna be the first game that does that on PlayStation 5, so that's gonna be interesting.
Oh wow! Okay, that is
okay,
something.
That's good to know, because the Black Myth Wukong uses frame gen for a 60 FPS mode, for example, for its performance mode.
It's funny, and go ahead. No, go finish your thought, Singer, please.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, it's it's. Hopefully they stick with PSSR and they upgrade it, and I'm sure Mark Cerny understands, and he's like, okay, we'll get it going. Although the way things stand, I'm still sat on GTA 6 will be 30 FPS.
Dude, man, I believe you, because you're clearly more tech savvy than I am. But if it is, oh my god, the internet is going to burn down, man. God, that would suck so bad.
When I was watching it run Baldur's Gate 3 in Act 3, which is CPU heavily intensive, it can't do 60 FPS, and I look at Rockstar's track history. It's not looking pretty. So be prepared for the 30 FPS.
Just a note on that. I assume you were watching the Digital Foundry video.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, so that's, from my understanding, that's before the patch. And Baldur's Gate 3 just got the patch today, so I assume Digital Foundry is going to do another video after they've gotten the PS5 Pro patch.
Yeah,
what they were testing there was using the raw GPU performance, and it was like 35% over the base. That's what they were testing. But now Baldur's Gate 3 has an actual PS5 Pro patch. With
I actually
4K
just installed
PS5.
I literally just installed Baldur's Gate 3, and I have a save file in Act 3. I'm going to boot it up now and see if it looks better.
See,
I want to know how it fares.
I know. I do, because I beat it on PS5 and I beat it on PC, and it's pretty rough if you're not playing it on PC.
It is, if you don't have a capable CPU, because it's not GPU bang, it's just it hammers your CPU. Mm-hmm. And the problem I have with that is like, when I think back to Rockstar in general, their games are so CPU intensive. I think back to like GTA 30 FPS. GTA 5 only got 60 FPS on console with the PS5. It came out on the PS3 and 360 gen. So that's how long it took just to get 60 FPS. Now, Red Dead 2, I don't even think... Is Red Dead 2 even 60 on console?
It's 30. It's 30 FPS. I put that in my video because that was one of the things I was like, well, it definitely... Because there's definitely some cleaning up of the visuals the Pro does, but nope, it's still 30 FPS.
But that's because of the developers, not because of performance. The Red Dead Redemption 2 can run at 60, I believe, on PS4 Pro. I think Digital Foundry tested that out.
The thing is,
they ran a modded console.
Yeah, exactly. But you had to mod it. But that's why I'm saying...
That's how they unlock the frames there, but yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Rockstar's track history tells me 30 FPS for GTA 6, because they seem to just don't care.
I will say on that note, not saying that it will be 60, but I will say on that note, this generation for consoles, which Rockstar has been mainly focused on consoles, then it goes to PC. This generation, more than previous generation that I've noticed, like having two modes has been a big part of it, which is the 30 and 60. And I'm assuming so I know they don't care, but previously on the PS4 that wasn't like a major thing that people focused on. On the PS5 and Series X, most games, it's hard to think of games that are specifically just it's a few games that are specifically just 30 FPS, nothing else. But most games that you're going to play have 30 and 60. So I have hope that they will have a 60 FPS mode even on base PS5.
Yeah, there's an emphasis on that now, TC. I agree with you. I really do.
I hope they do. And I'm sure they're going to have to dial back a whole bunch of stuff to get it. I just don't trust Rockstar to do that. I trust them to make the best looking game possible. They'll put it at 30 and it's going to sell in the billions because it's GTA.
Yeah,
but the thing is, it could be the best looking, but the CPU side of it, from my understanding, is if they have a lot of complications going on, a lot of calculations going on, a lot of simulation going on. That's what makes it very CPU limited. But it could be a visually impressive game, but that would be focused on the GPU side. And if it's really just graphically intensive and just beautifully gorgeous, but it does a lot of the same things GTA 5 does, which I don't expect it to be the case. I expect them to do more complex things. But if that is the case, then I would assume it could run at 60, no problem. But knowing Rockstar, they're going to do something special.
The GTA games are always simulation heavy, though. Like, all their games are always heavy.
If it does what GTA 5 did in terms of how complicated, how many NPCs are they really going to put on the road? Unless these NPCs really...
ton of cars. Yeah, that's
they can. But the thing is, if these NPCs are doing what you've seen in GTA 5, which is walk up and down the street and maybe have some random conversations, that's not as intensive as them actually doing crazy tasks. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 is where they elevated from Grand Theft Auto. Obviously, it was their next game. That's more lifelike over there. So I expect them to go more intense on PS5. But if Red Dead 2 could run unlocked at 60 FPS or close to it, I think on PS4 Pro, I feel like knowing this generation with how much support 60 FPS has this generation above previous generations, it's a matter of will they do it? I don't think it's not that they can't do it. I'm wondering.
It's not that they can't do it. It's just I'm firmly in the boat that Rockstar won't do it because they'll be too busy. They've been crafting this game for years, right?
Yeah.
So they probably got all the simulation. They'll probably real-time weather, the weather will change randomly. They're going to pull something special out, and it's going to be a game that absolutely everyone loves. And they're going to do something crazy. Rockstar always do. They always elevate their game. So I expect all that, but when they say all these extra things, I hear that's going to hit the CPU something heavy. And I just don't think the PS5 CPU, even with the 10% boost, is going to achieve it. The GPU will be fine. Just CPU is my worry.
So here's one thing, and shout out to Lord Metroid. I'm shocked. Lord Metroid, this is an interesting message he put in the chat. He says, $700 is not cheap. It is a personal decision. It's not fair to tell others to buy because some do. And, I've said this for weeks, if not months. I don't ever say, I've never said even Singer, of course it's a joke because we all know Singer's no intention of buying it. So with Singer, we're just joking around on the panel. But I'd never say that. What's interesting though, Lord Metroid, that I think you need to understand, well, at least in the community, I see more people telling people not to buy something that they want than the ones that purchased one telling people who don't want one to go buy one. I see it the other way. I see more people saying to go buy a PC or build a PC or no, you don't need to. Just stick with your OG. It's good enough. Who needs that upgrade? I see more people telling people that want to spend the $700 not to spend their money, which is also, I'd like to say, their choice. Versus I don't see a lot of people like today. I saw hundreds of PS5 Pros going home. Nobody was like on the way home to play my PS5 Pro, and you should buy yours too. I didn't see that. So I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, you didn't need to buy that. Why'd you buy that? Oh, you fell for it, sucker." You know what I mean? So that's the stuff you see. It seems to be the opposite. Does anybody you know what I mean? A lot of people say, I never tell people, DC, you need to go buy that. I would never. If someone asked me my opinion, have you noticed a difference? Are you enjoying it? I'll give my opinion, and I'll say if it's within your means, or you want to do Moochonomics and trade in your PS5 for a PS5 Pro, I think that's not a bad choice because I think you get your returns back. Me and Crap used to say this all the time back in the day. When you can have the next 4 years of the best tech in your house and gaming is your primary hobby, so for $350 out of pocket, if you trade yours in at GameStop, then you get 4 years of the best tech in your house. And then when you go to get a PS6, you're also going to better trade in for your Pro than you will for your day one 2020 PS5. So you still get something back. You're always putting something out of pocket to upgrade. That's a no-brainer. But the one thing about it is I think that that was an interesting comment. I don't see a lot of people unless you're seeing it in the chat. And of course, the chat has fun with that. Here we go. We got this is going to be great. We got some people joining the show. The great gaming with Persona is here. Persona, you're probably chewing Advil like Tic Tacs because you have a headache from the conversation that's going on, and the great gaming Forte as well, who probably had a busy day at work. So great to have you guys join us here tonight. I was hoping some special guests would pop in, guys. Forte, Persona's still muted, so I'll let Persona kind of get situated. Forte, what happened today for you? Was it a busy day with the Pro? Were there people coming in for it or not really?
I sold out of all my extras, and I think I had just 2 pre-orders that didn't get picked up yet, and they'll get picked up either tomorrow morning, or they probably did get picked up tonight because we were open till 8:00. So I don't know, but yeah, man, it was today was fun. It was exhausting. I'm tired. I traded in more systems than I care to think about today.
Oh, so the Moochonomics is getting out there, Forte. What was the trading credit today for people going on the day of?
I think it was like 300 if you traded in towards it. If you had the disc one, and it was like 280 if you had the digital one. So, far cry from that $415 it was when we told y'all to do it before.
Exactly. All you had to do is bite the bullet for like 1 month, and not have a system, and you would have got another $120 out of that.
$120 out of it. I've been like, shoot, it ain't like PlayStation had any games that really. I'm just being messy now, but no, it was great. It was fun. My proudest moment today, and you were just talking, so I was prepping for DPS tonight, so I was like, I'll just jump in there for a second while I'm doing that. My proudest moment today is a guy walked into the store. I had one. Now, this is the one that I was thinking, like, I was on the fence. I didn't get one, but I had one sitting there just in case I got to bite the bullet and buy this thing. A customer walked into the store. It was like, yeah, I want to get a PlayStation 5. And I was like, oh, really? I said, just the regular one, or are you trying to get the Pro? He's like, what's the difference? I said, oh, more powerful, more memory, better system overall. And he was like, let me get that one. And I was like, oh. I got a whale on the hook right now. I was like, this dude, he said yes right away. I was like, oh, okay. He said, what's the difference in price? I said $200, $700 versus $500. He's like, cool. I was like, I said, are you going to be playing disc or digital? He was like, oh, man. He said, I think I might need to get a disc drive. I was like, oh, I got 4 of them sitting right up there. You want one? He is like, yeah, I need to get that too. Oh, you need an extra controller? Man, it was like I was out eating Shamu. It was great, bro. I had so much fun today. It's always great to like have people come in and be excited to buy this new stuff, and the funny thing is, a lot of people were just buying random games and stuff. Like, some people bought Black Ops. Some people was like, I can't wait to get home. Like, I sold one to my old store manager. He's like, I'm buying Black Ops because I want to play Black Ops on PS5 Pro, but I want to go home and see like what God of War and stuff looks like. I said, oh yeah, those first party titles are going to probably be lit. So you definitely, are doing that. So it's really cool to see people wanting to go back through their library and see exactly what their games are going to look like. I was like, look at you guys out here being PC gamers and stuff, want to see what the performance of your older games look like and stuff. Mm-hmm. It was a fun day today. And
that's great.
I'm just looking forward to seeing what everybody else, because I really wasn't on Twitter today because it was so busy, but just hearing the people's feedback and what people were saying about it and listening to the reviews yesterday and how some of that kind of planned itself out. And I'm of two minds of that, because I understand some people are like, going out there saying like, why are they cherry picking the titles that aren't really enhanced? They're the ones that are being FPS boost and stuff. And they're trying to see if those titles like Elden Ring and stuff are going to like meet the snub. But I told people, I was like, listen, this is what PC gamers do all the time. We're not going to take the easiest game and see if it's going to run, better on our system. We're going to take the games that struggle.
True.
We're going to take struggle buses and see. Mm-hmm. We're going to take Jedi Survivor and see if it runs on our PS5 Pro and how much better it runs. We're going to see how Elden Ring runs, and we're going to see how these games like Cyberpunk and stuff, how they run on this system, because those are the ones that, are the ones that people had issues with, or not really have issues with, but they had to
it took a long time for patches to come out, especially like Survivor.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I always, I kind of heard people complain like, why was that happening? I was like, dude, this is nothing new. I said, have you ever heard of Crysis? Literally, the thing was, does it run Crysis?
Yep.
Now it's like, does it run Elden Ring? Does it run this? Does it run that? So I'm super excited to see everybody else's thing, and I keep telling people, I was like, listen, I may not be buying one just because it's not a game that's coming out in the near future that I want, that I can't wait for. But if you want the system, I'm happy that you have it, and I'm happy that you're going to enjoy it. And trust me, there was a lot of people that came out of a lot of money today to have the experience that they want. Like, just looking at Twitter, people posted pictures of systems and TVs. And I don't want to hear no excuses about, man, you spent $2,000 on your graphics card. I see a picture with like $3,000 worth of stuff in it. So I don't want to hear that no more. But it's fun, man. I'm fun. I'm excited. And even though I'm not getting one, I'm happy to see the people that do have it and that they seem to be enjoying it.
It's funny you said that. That was something I didn't have on the topics list, Forte. But much like when Xbox first brought up back compat, right? I wonder how many people this may do something for some. I wouldn't say older games as far as going back as like PS4 or anything like that. I know that there's a PS4 enhanced button you can push on there, and it does make certain differences here and there. Very slight, by the way. But I do think that this does things for near-term past games, right? So games that just passed, like Jedi Survivor being one of them, maybe even Star Wars Outcast and other Outlaws. There's certain games that didn't perform that well that now might actually, they'll give a second chance to, or they'll stop in your store and they'll pick up that game. Persona, are you back yet? I don't know if we have Persona.
Yeah.
Listen, Persona. Did we?
Yeah, why you sound like you just died? Did you wake up?
No, he didn't just wake up. I think Persona was listening to the show, and he was.
I took a nap. I took a nap earlier.
I told you that. You knew it. Like he just woke up.
He did say he was going to take a nap earlier on Twitter.
I saw your message, Mooch. I was like, on Pro Day, when I was like, you know what, Mooch, that fellow New Yorker, that's my boy. So I said, I'll pull up for a quick second, real quick. And,
man,
chop it up.
Yeah, let's hear it. Honestly, Persona, what do you think?
I was like, I got to get down there.
There's, of course, the great Jez as well. I know Jez just went live as well just a moment ago. It's great to have everybody on here because it is a big night. It's a console release night. Persona, what did you think? Not only of your experience so far, but I saw you were very lively in the chat as well a few moments ago.
Yo, listen, I'm talking through my AirPods. I'm not on my computer and other stuff. I sound different. That's also why.
That still sounds good.
It does sound
okay,
good,
cool. Well, thank you. Yo, Mooch, I was about to come in here and break that singer legs real quick.
I know you were,
but the thought has passed. It slipped. I'm getting old, Mooch. You feel me? So I can't really,
Man, the fight is left here.
My memory ain't what it used to be. I'm getting old. No, but I mean, listen. I think when it comes to the PlayStation 5 Pro, obviously I was definitely very excited. To get this console and experience it and see what it can offer and whatnot. And and this is something that I agree with, and I agree with this even when they first announced it. I get that the price point is definitely something that turns off a lot of people, and rightfully so. It's a $700 console. That's a lot of money, especially in today's time and today's climate. A lot of people don't really have the funds to shell that out or don't want to. So that's understandable. I do think that it is rather strange though that throughout the course of the time from when this was announced officially to now its release, what we've gotten in between that was people trying to tell you and deter you from buying a PlayStation 5 Pro in favor of buying a PC that would inevitably be a more expensive experience if you're looking to get the type of experience that you would get from a PlayStation 5 Pro, or if you're looking for a higher level experience.
Yes.
And so it's just strange to see people say, oh, you don't force this on me, and it's like, cool, you don't have to buy that, but in the same breath, you're moving like a Jehovah's Witness. Like, have you heard about our Lord to save a PC? And it's like, guys, let's dial it back. But in terms of the PlayStation 5 Pro, I've been playing around with it earlier today, and I do think it's an interesting piece of technology, and I do enjoy, like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, night and day difference.
Yeah, it's like a remaster. It's crazy.
Absolutely, yeah, it is absolutely beautiful. Like, and I'm playing on my OLED LG C1 TV. I got an OLED LG monitor. So like I'm seeing it in its glitz and glamour. And Final Fantasy, God of War, Horizon, all those games are definitely Stellar Blade, right? Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which that's a game that suffered a lot of performance issues when I was doing my initial playthrough. Playing through it earlier today, no performance issues. I'm not really seeing a lot of that. It does look noticeably better, which is a good thing. So I can go back and finish my platinum run with that. Same thing with Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy was also something that was plagued with a lot of performance issues. Even playing in balance mode, which is what I played when I did my playthrough of that. It still experienced some performance issues on a base PS5. And now I'm playing in performance mode here, and it looks good. It looks really good on the OLED. I'm not really seeing a lot of performance issues, even flying around on a broom around and things like that. I'm not really seeing a whole lot. Obviously, I still need to spend a lot more time with this console before I can really give like a concrete breakdown of my experience with it. But so far, I am happy with my purchase. I personally think it's worth the asking price. But I do understand people who might not.
That's right.
Might want to wait for a sale or might not want to buy it at all.
No, I think that's a really good assessment. And Persona, I do appreciate you stopping by, like I said, and hanging out with us. And please, stay as long as you want. I'd love to have you on the show as long as you can stay.
And one last thing too, man. Like, when it comes to the PlayStation 5 Pro, this isn't a console that you have to buy. No one has to buy this, right? It is something that is only meant for you to, if you're looking for a higher level gaming experience on the console platforms, that is what the PlayStation 5 Pro can offer you. I'm not saying that it's going to outdo a 4090 or it's better than PC in every single way. Like that's not my argument, because obviously PC, with it being much more modular and you being able to do more within that ecosystem, of course that would be the more optimal experience if that's something that you're looking for. But if you're a console gamer and you're looking to take that experience on consoles to the next level, the PlayStation 5 Pro is it offers that.
I agree. Go ahead, Forte, and then I did want to get Jez's point too.
Yeah, I was going to say the funny thing is when he was talking about, I had a customer that came in. I want to say it was yesterday. He pre-ordered it, or day before yesterday. He pre-ordered one, and he's a PC gamer, and he's a person that he had a 4090 and everything, and he was moving. He's buying a house, and as soon as he came in, I was like, "Oh, you getting?" He said, "Yeah, I wanted to pre-order the Pro." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." I said, "What do you have right now?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I got a PC, but I'm about to sell it." He was selling it to somebody for $3,500. It was like 4090 and all the glitz and glamour and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "What making you do that?" He's like, honestly, he was like, having too many. He's like, it works, but I'm tired of the fiddling on my PC. Games not working day to day. He's one of those people that has a super ultra wide monitor. He has the OLED one, like the 40-inch gigabit one. And he said that most of the games, like mostly all the games, weren't supporting super ultra wide. And he was like, I got tired of that, and I can't play that way I want to play. So, I'm buying a house. He said I can use this money to go towards it, but I need a console that's gonna, satiate that appetite. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And he was like, and the fact that PlayStation doesn't put their games on there day and day, I can still get the value out of the console. He's like, this is going to be the best thing that I can get that gives me at least the performance that I expect from the console. And I was like, I can respect that. And I told him, I was like, listen, you go come back to PC gaming at some point. He is like, yeah, when I get my house and everything. He said, but right now, this PlayStation 5 Pro, that's what I'm going to be rocking. And he came into the store. We had a really good conversation around it. And this console fits whoever it needs to fit. Like Persona said, it's not a one shoe fits all. If it's something that speaks to you and you want it, buy it. If it doesn't and you can wait, then wait. But at some point, just make a decision. And I tell people, just don't worry about what other people are doing. Just worry about what you want to do. But that was a PC gamer that literally is at the top of the top. It was like, yo, I got other priorities and I love PC gaming, but the fact that I can't play the way I want to with his ultra wide, he said, I'd rather just step down, use that money towards something else, and then buy the best console that he could buy that gives him the performance he wants. And that's how he got a PlayStation 5 Pro today.
I think its biggest, I'll just chime in real quick.
Go ahead, Steve. Welcome to the show, buddy. Good to have you
here. And I think its biggest draw is simplicity.
Right.
Combined with a luxury performance options. Like, you're not going to get your high-end performance out. I've been able to test quite a few of the games that are PS5 Pro enhanced, and I was able to kind of go back and forth between the Pro and the PS5. And some of the games, there are significant differences. Some games, there's not as significant, depending on what you want to get out of it. For example, like Spider-Man 2. It already looked pretty good, so you may not tell huge differences in it. You might just see minor ones. But there are some games like Hogwarts, Final Fantasy, and some of the other titles that have gotten this, PS5 Pro enhancement. You are going to see significant differences in them, especially if you have a really good monitor, a really good TV. But I think the biggest draw for it that people are kind of grasping onto is it offers a level of performance that is equal to a lot of PCs, definitely not the strongest PCs, but it gives consumers simplicity who just want to sit on the couch, plug in, have a nice ass TV, and they want to play games. And for me, I obviously I got one for free, and then I purchased another one. And with trade-in and stuff like that, I think I paid $300 and some or something like that with tax.
Can't beat that. I mean, it's a decent price for a mid-gen console that offers what it's offering. Like I say, it's not for everybody, but
it's not for everyone.
But but it's so strange to see. In the gaming community, we always talk about gamers want options or gamers love options.
That's right,
things like that.
That's right.
That's always a talking point that I've heard throughout the years. Being on both YouTube and social media. And, what I see here, especially when you're looking at the comparison of PC and console, it's just an option, right? Especially looking at a pro version of a console. If you're somebody that prefers PC or thinks PC is the optimal way to game, I don't see anything wrong with that. That's your prerogative, that's your opinion, and that's where you prefer to play games, and that's perfectly fine. But to say that a pro is not needed, or that a pro is not wanted or whatever, you're essentially voting against another option that someone can choose to get a better experience within their gaming experience.
That's right. That's right.
It doesn't need to be for everybody, and it's not for everybody. I don't think the pro is for everybody, but I will say, if you, again, it's very simple, but when you're dealing with social media, people tend to overcomplicate the things that are very simple. You want a higher end experience? The Pro is there. If you don't care, the PS5, the Xbox, whatever you want to play, like it's all there. It's options. If you want the highest of the highest experiences, PC is right there. Go to Micro Center and build your PC, or go to PC Power Up, GPU, whatever them build the sites are, and get your shit built and sent to you. It's that simple.
I want to jump in on that and say I completely agree. I almost feel like it's something I feel like we're all kind of broaching on, but I feel like 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the total biscuit era, vote with your wallet was pushed a lot more of, you don't like microtransactions, then don't buy them. You don't need to publicly scream about how bad microtransactions are. We all know they suck, so let's not buy them. I feel like the way about consoles as well. Like, if you like PlayStation, buy the games day one. Sony will make more games if they see this particular game is selling. Like, I love Final Fantasy. I'm sad that Final Fantasy isn't selling better because I think it's signaling to Square Enix that they need to shake it up or go back to the old turn-based or something. I feel that way about the PlayStation 5 Pro. A lot of people have come forward and said, yeah, this is expensive. Yeah, I did have to save up. Yeah, it did kind of make me broke for a bit. I'm going to have a little bit of ramen. But I'm choosing to vote with my wallet because I think it's cool that PlayStation is doing this stuff that I consider to be kind of weird, like the $200 PlayStation Edge controller or the PlayStation Portal. I bought those as well because they're things that I think are interesting gadgets. And I feel like now people kind of in a weird way get mad, where they want to not vote with your wallet, where it's like, you can't get mad at me for what I'm choosing to buy. Like, I am wanting to support this. I'm not telling you have to support this.
Yeah, then you know that's funny because Crap, I don't know if you're here, I see you're muted, but Crap, we used to always say last generation was the start of this generation of options. And that's what Persona was just saying right there. That's the one thing that you don't want, Crap. That was like, you've always been a proponent for consoles. Like, it was no surprise to me that you got a Pro. You know, because you've always, and you would have got one for Xbox too if they had one. I know you would.
Yeah, I would have, because, you know, originally when these things kind of came out or whatever, and you're like, you start hearing rumors about an upgrade or whatever, you're like, no. And I think the reason is because you just spent money on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then like 4 years comes around and you're like, yeah, man, why not? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I also think that consoles are changing a bit in that because so many people are still on the older stuff, playing the older, like, I think that Sony and Microsoft are probably both taking the thing. Well, Sony is anyway. They're like, okay, well, we have this Pro, people buy it, and then they probably won't buy a PS6 day one. They'll wait a few years or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's probably, you know, a good thought process. They'll probably, you know, I know a lot of people get pissed off when this happens, but I see cross-gen being a thing much longer next generation. Even, you know what I mean? Like, this generation was like bad, and we still like whatever they like port stuff, that Jedi game or whatever, even afterwards.
Oh, and God, backporting, God, I hate
that. I just see them probably like doing cross-gen for a much longer time, and I can see, like, who can't see Phil Spencer talking about not leaving gamers behind, and if they buy something, they should be able to play wherever on whatever, you know, like, I just see that happening, and I see probably, you know, Sony probably doing that a little bit too. You know, maybe not for as long, but it's like, you know,
I think this generation entirely is definitely going to be longer, or about 8 or 9 or 10 years, because Hideki, I think it's Hideki Nishino, he said that, you know, typically they're trying to do like a 10-year cycle. Typically there's a 10-year cycle. So go ahead, Detective.
I can't tell. I'm out in the middle of freaking nowhere. I'm.
I don't know.
Jez, can you hear me? Yeah, Jez, we hear you now.
My setup was all crazy because I did like a crazy stream with, like, I basically took this thing out of the box and opened it up, installed the drive, and put it in my SSD and put on the disk drive, and then did a double unboxing. You know what?
Jez,
but I'm going to tell my story.
Go ahead, tell the story. I was just going to ask that.
What'd you say?
No, I was just going to say I have a couple of questions for you on the unboxing, but go ahead. You go first.
Before you say that, how many of y'all actually bought 2 of these things?
I bought 2 PS5 Pros.
Too rich for my blood.
Remember,
I know Mooch. I saw Mooch got 2.
I got 2, but I didn't have the Detective Seed's got a console. I had returned a PS5 and an Xbox Series X, which gave me more than enough to get a PS5 Pro, and then I did buy one. So one was through trade-in, and one I bought.
Y'all out here truly flexing on people. I love y'all.
Am I too loud? I've tried reducing it a little bit.
You're better now. Yeah, your body was a little bit blown out. You sound great now.
Yeah, now you're
good. Yeah, because I was
now you're good.
So I pre-ordered from GameStop Forte. That's why I wanted to jump on her Forte telling the story. So I pre-ordered from GameStop. I brought my trade in a long time ago. I've been like PlayStation less for like a month and a half now, because I took when you did that big deal, when you talked about that big trade-in, I did that. So trade-in, what they get here. And I want to know if you experienced the same thing in your store. So I go in, the girl was there. I said, okay, I'm ready to pay the rest of it on. She's like, hold on, I got to get the serial number down. So I paid like $2.90 or something like that left, because I had like all this credit on there. And then she goes, I got to get the serial number. They had the book in the back. She wouldn't tell me how many they had. I saw about like maybe 8 of them like they had in a book. But she wouldn't tell me. And then, excuse me, damn, I'm all hyped up here. I came running down. So then, dude, so this is, I wish somebody took a picture of my face. So she goes, hold on, I'll go get it. So she goes in the back, and then she comes running out. She goes, oh no, I got to have a box cutter. I got to cut it. It's in the box. And she's like, oh no, don't worry. It's not the box. It's the box that it came shipped in.
Yeah.
So she takes the box cutter, runs in the back. She comes out my Pro. The flap is flapping open.
So the top
I go, what open. The hell is going on here? She put it down in front of me. I'm like, it's open. The thing's open. She's like, oh, I must have cut it when I was like, oh, I'm like, okay, like, what are we gonna do here? Like, this is open. Like, you guys, like, I don't know what's going on here, but I don't think I waited this long to get a box that's open. I opened it up. I was like, did the little stands are in there? I don't know. And then I left and I just felt such like defeat. I'm like, wait a second, dude. Like, nah, man. I did a 180 and I went back in the store and I was like, I need a new one. Now, I'm not taking this with the flat. It's open. Like, you know what I mean?
Was it the outside sleeve was open basically?
Yeah, you know that because they use like tissue paper. Because I think Sony.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm gonna tell you what we did. So when I opened all of mine last week when we got them, I was like,
last week.
Yeah, we had them for a week. Yeah, they've been there for like a week. I listen. Every time I walked in my back room since I think Wednesday last week,
looking at his lips.
I just been looking at him. It's like, look, I say it's a lot of these things sitting here. People keep asking, like, can I get my system? I was like, nah, bro,
we don't have it.
Only one person just happened to be in the store today that I was checking them in. And he was like, is that what I think it is? I said, you ain't see nothing. So they were just sitting back there in the back. But yeah, when you open it, like when I opened up the box to check them in, to scan the serial numbers on them, to put them in, the book that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Because we have to scan them from the front, to stop people from like running off with them. So we ring them up before we bring them out, and we just hand it to you after that. That's why they do that. Okay. So when I opened them, literally that tissue paper probably on half of them was literally breaking off.
Yes, because when I asked for the trade, when I was like, you know what, the Magic came out, he goes, okay, yeah, we'll do it. So he got the other one, and the other one looked like it was about to come apart too. And then I realized, like, okay, so maybe it wasn't. But the reason why
I reseal all of ours.
That's what I was like. Why don't you reseal them or something like that with the
the security?
When I opened them, I literally took the little clear stickers that we have and I resealed every last one of them.
So just so you know,
that's the quality GameStop there with the
that happened. That happened across the board, though.
You can imagine my face when she comes walking out and the thing's open.
That happened across the board.
She was walking to me. I'm like,
you're more of a stickler than I did 10 years of retail, so now I don't care. Someone can spit in my mouth and I'll still do 20% tip. I'm like, fuck it.
I know. I went to real. I'm like, dude, I got it. So like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be in it. I'm like, just swap it out, dude.
Jez, mine didn't have the actual seal on. So the sticker seal. The manager there, he said, I know him, and he says to me, he goes, listen, I hope you don't. He goes, everyone in the back. He goes, you want to take a look? You can take a look. He goes, everyone in the back, literally the tape on it. Forte, I think this is what you were saying. Mine wasn't destroyed or the flap wasn't off or anything like that. But that security tape was like definitely halfway already like peeled off. He goes, listen, they're all like this, and I was there when they opened today. And he goes,
that tape ain't worth the box that is in,
dude. It's not. It is like friggin' tissue paper. Because I was like. Dude, but I just couldn't, because the thing is that like a month ago, I was at Best Buy and I bought one of the Sennheiser Momentum, the little earbuds, right? And they only had one in stock. Dude, they came out, they handed it to me. I paid $350 for these things, or $300 they were. And then I'm walking away and I flip it on the bottom and I would see that the seal is open. It's cut open. I'm like, dude, these are open. I opened them up. They're just the earbuds in there, but it looked like they were used, and there was nasty. And then there was no earbud replacements, like extra parts. I'm like, this is supposed to come with other parts. And then they sold to me as a full product. I turned right around and I was like that. So I just felt like I left the car and I got in the car and I looked at it and I was like, wait, that slice on that thing doesn't look like she accidentally sliced it with the box cutter. It looks like somebody opened it because it like has that tear. It's not even. And I'm like, I'm just gonna exchange it. Just give me another one, dude.
I get it, man.
I felt bad, but I was like, I'm not. I'm not gonna be that.
$700, bro.
Right. Exactly.
I'm like, with you.
Just do it, and then when she took that one out, and I saw that one was like a little messed up, I'm like, okay, well, I see that must be a problem with this tissue paper that they put on this thing.
I wish they used the seal tape, like on the disk drives. The ones that had the logo and stuff. They like, why? How do you seal a box that's $80 with a disk drive in it better than you seal the box that you're
right, because I opened up that one. It has like the PlayStation branded blue tape across the top of it.
I'm like, what's really going? And by the way, digital and physical still alive. I sold every last one of those disk drives at my store today. Every last
I'm
one
telling
of
you,
them.
everybody here, I told this on my show that Target's going to do the buy two, get one for free as soon. I think they do that. And I know Best Buy was doing some. So, like, yeah, there's going to be that time for the physical.
I just popped mine out on. I popped mine out on my Slim before I sold that.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that,
it was pretty easy to put it on
yeah.
too. Like you just pop it in and there. And
I bought,
what did you do with
one.
What did you do with the bottom piece to your Slim then? Because it's a different.
They're interchangeable.
The Slim is the same.
The bottom is the the bottom's the same.
The bottom is
yeah.
the top.
That's the one people are mad about. The top hooks are different. The bottom hooks are the same because it has to be cross compatible with the disk drive.
So wait, that's an interesting.
I couldn't believe how small it was because this is my first Slim console. I had the first one, and that thing, and even that too. Like I felt how light the box was. I remember I carried that box. It was like I carrying a body with the original PlayStation 5. That thing was huge. It was heavy. And this thing was so light.
It's light,
like,
man.
Oh God,
it's sitting right next to me here. This thing, it's light. It's much thinner. It's great. It really is great. I think they did a great job with that. I will say though, the whole thing with the experience with the packaging. That I mean, it is bad, right? I mean, it was when I have to go pull the actual device out, like you start tearing that outside PS5 box. You know, the one that's actually
it's like a sleeve.
Yeah, it's a sleeve. Yeah. You know, I mean, that was I see a couple people in the chat all saying that theirs didn't. They also didn't have the security sticker on it either. I think this was a common thing across the board.
It's like the worst thing. It's like they literally package.
But wait, so here's my question for you guys.
They'll package the post headsets or like the in-ear headsets. They'll package that the stand, all of the disc drive, all of these things that cost like 10% to 20% less than of the cost of the PS5, and that's like ridiculous, bro.
Have you tried to open those Pulse Elite? The Pulse where you open up from the bottom.
Yeah.
Dude,
I tore.
Oh my god.
You gotta like on both sides it's tape. Then you gotta do the whole shaking the top of the box to get it to loosen up. So I'm like, yo, this thing is ridiculous.
I was like, it's a little origami, man. It was crazy because I was opening up the top. I'm like, where the hell are these buds? And it was like, man, it was the stupidest thing.
It's
what
like
the hell is happening right now?
We all keep talking about this is the thing. This is the one thing we keep talking.
This is the consumer problems.
This is the part of the thing where PlayStation just needs to do better. I was like, if you gonna be Apple, I need you to package the system like Apple.
It's crazy. Yes, you're right. They take their smaller things and package them like, the Fort Knox, and then they take the PlayStation and things like they put tissue paper on the thing and it blew in the wind. Yo,
they wrap it with a kiss and go, "Don't break it. Goodbye."
Dude, I saw that thing flap and I'm like, "Well, you guys playing it in the back?" I'm like, "What the hell?"
Jez, you didn't walk in there and go, "I got an unboxing to do here." Right? We played the back.
Listen, if I got my PS5 Pro today, which I'm still waiting for, you could have thrown it in a trash bag. I would have walked home like Art the Clown with the bag over my shoulder.
Now I don't give a shit. I don't care about it now.
Listen though, most people.
The box was open.
You should see the people that walked in that had base PS5s. They walked in, they got their Pro, and they were trading their base PS5 in. They walk in like it's like a suitcase with it, and then they get the PS5 Pro, and like 3 people that saw it, it was like, damn, this thing ain't got no handle.
Yo, that's what Frog was telling me. He's like, there's no handle on this thing. I'm like,
there's no handle.
There's no handle.
Like, what do you mean? He's like, man, my PlayStation 5 had a handle. He's like, they just cut cost everywhere.
There's no handle. Frog was telling me that earlier. Holy shit.
Well, I got a couple super chats here.
Like a baby.
Couple.
That makes sense. Hey, the original packaging was like Jello. As soon as you touch it, it was flopping all over the place. I'm like,
I ripped that open. Right. You're right. Yeah, that thing was
terrifying.
Forte, you have to. Forte, I know you have to go to DPS, but Forte, you have to help me out tomorrow. You've got to tell me how because we have the same mixer, we have the same microphone, and I can't. Whenever I speak on the show, when the panel's talking, you guys can't hear me, and the audience can hear me. But it's got to be an option that I don't have set.
I can hear you very faintly. It sounds like you're talking from another room.
Yes.
Yeah. I can, I'm off work tomorrow, so just hit me up whenever you're available tomorrow.
All right, let's try this again, Forte, because you have the same exact setup to a T, and you also do your podcast using Discord. So it's like, we have to figure this out. I need the help from the great Gaming Forte. But Forte, thanks for stopping by.
Just hit me up, and I'll be available. Just hit me up tomorrow.
I appreciate that, guys. We'll go over and check out DPS as soon as the show's over. You'll see everyone come over, Forte. I appreciate it.
no problem. See you guys later.
And I have to jump off, Mooch, but you had questions. Mooch, you had some questions?
Well, I just had some questions. I was going to read a couple super chats, and then I had a question for you, Jez. Just real quick. Just a few of them. Archwar Angel says, happy launch to everybody with PS5 Pro. Shout out to the great Jimmy Harrison. Well, because Mag made a good point. He goes, let's stop talking packaging. Let's talk about the games. And, Jimmy goes, damn, Stellar Blade Spider-Man looking sick. But shout out to Sheffield Sphere. He said, did anybody test run Returnal yet? Have we heard anything on Returnal?
No, Mooch, that's on you, Mooch.
That's me?
I did. It's the exact same. There's nothing
really?
different. Yeah.
All right.
I didn't hear
if there
anything
is
about
something
that.
different, it's so tiny I can't tell. That game already ran like a dream, and it already looked like a dream. It
did.
didn't look any whatever.
It really, really did. Shout out to Cloud Strife here. He says, only in gaming do we complain about a price and include it in a review. Does it do what it's supposed to do? That's what real gamers care about. Said. So it's funny because Cloud says that. But and it was funny because I started to almost write that as one of the topics tonight. But let me ask you guys. You guys do this, right? Everyone on this channel, everyone on the panel right now does YouTube. You guys all do this week in and week out. Like, to be honest with you guys, I don't know if necessarily. I think price is part of a review. Do you guys think price is or no?
No. You know what? I'm going to jump on this first.
Go ahead.
There's a reason why. I took my kids to go see Beetlejuice, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever the hell it was, right? And it cost me $200 to go take them to that film.
Oh, my God.
Now, here's the thing. Well,
I know.
Tickets,
It's not your
IMAX,
fault.
all that bullshit.
Yeah, it's not your fault.
And then, of course, the food, the dinner, whatever.
Right.
So it was about $200 to take them to this movie, right? So the whole family. Now, the thing is, we could have sat at home and watched the same thing now that it's on digital demand or whatever, or you can download it on Pirate Bay, whatever, right? And then you could do whatever you're going to do for $20 or for free or whatever at home. Does that diminish the quality of the film? You see what I'm saying? Whether I pay $200 to go see the theater or I watch it $20 at home,
that's fair.
It doesn't diminish the product of what you're doing, because at the end of the day, that either a tech product or a game, that is essentially it's a creative work, right? So to me, the price tag does not diminish the quality of what you're actually dealing with. You have to look past that and then and then again, as an option, it's not a necessity, it's an option. Therefore, I don't think that price can play in that. The only thing that price could play into is you personally, and depends on your financial situation or whatever, unfortunately. But that is the way of the world. Why this hyper focus on the console when you have, I brought it up earlier, $2,000 graphic cards out there, or you have $5 million homes. Nobody's telling you that you have to go buy a $5 million home. You could go buy a $1,000 home or whatever, right? The options are there. Therefore, I don't think it's fair that if you're looking at that specific product, that price is irrelevant. That's just me. Okay, because you're able to access that product you know what I mean? Go get a base
Mag, honestly, whenever I did a show, anytime the price, we discussed the price because it happens to be such an argument point on social media. But DC, you do reviews every week. So yeah. I mean, and I know, and I happen to know you do discuss it. But Mag made a good point. When we're sitting here and we're talking about the tech itself, I find that a lot of the big outlets, like I'm just saying IGN, right? Because you say IGN's a big outlet. One of the big things they constantly do is they'll talk about the price for 45 minutes out of an hour show. And of course, I'm exaggerating. I'm just saying, but they make it such an emphasis. And I know that you do because you're very much in tune with the community, like we're all saying. But is it really something that we should focus on moving forward? Is the price a true review of the tech? I thought yes, but maybe it's because I've been drinking the Kool-Aid over the past 5, 6, 7, 10 years.
So here's my point of view, because people watch my videos. I do bring up game price a lot, and I bring up hardware price a lot. And the reason why I do is because I am a very console-focused channel. And in my opinion, a big reason a lot of people start console gaming is because it is cheaper than PC. Like, the ceiling for PC games, you could spend $5,000 on a really top-of-the-line crazy rig with 2090s or whatever the heck, Whereas I always felt like console gaming is the cool, easy, accessible, you put a disc in, you pick up the controller, it comes out of the box automatically synced and stuff like that. So I mention price a lot of times because I do think that can be a barrier. This is supposed to be the more affordable way into gaming. And the reason I bring up price when it comes to games themselves is because it's not even about it being $60 or $40. A lot of times I bring it up when it's free to play or if it's a budget title, because a lot of stuff now does have some sort of online component, multiplayer, an MMO, or a subscription fee. And I bring it up a lot of times with stuff like Helldivers 2 or First Descendant or whatever. Those are games where I almost feel like the price point is part of the conversation because that can a lot of times show how long it's going to live. I do honestly think a huge reason Concord failed is because it wasn't free. Like, that game sucked, obviously, but I do think that if it was free, especially if they like did a big PlayStation Plus, people get these special extra skins or rolling unlockable characters, that carrot on a stick mechanic can entice an audience longer. So I do think price point it is something that's worth talking about, but it shouldn't be, like you said, 45 minutes out of an hour podcast. Yeah, I do think people dwell on it. That's why in most of my videos, I mention it for like 30 seconds. And it's usually like at the end of my Metal Slug Tactics video, I said, I can't believe this game's $25. It's cool. I think it's something I spent 8 hours playing. I enjoyed the 8 hours. It's also on Game Pass. I would probably suggest this as a Game Pass game. It's fun. I probably would not even pay that $25 for it, though. And I think that kind of drives a point home where if there's something that's fun, there's a separate layer of fun enough to pay for it. Yeah. At least that's my point of frame.
No, that's an interesting side because I think Mag made a heck of a case. And I think you made an interesting case for the other side of the coin. Crap, we used to talk about games day in and day out, doing console reviews. We even discussed things as far as, like you say, new accessories for different consoles. We never really, I mean, I do remember you early on, Crap, and I won't speak for you, you're here. Originally, when it came to like a Pro, you weren't necessarily, I remember you going back and forth for hours on whether or not you would pick up the mid-gen refreshes back in the day. But then, like you said, as it got closer to the time, you said, geez, I didn't think I needed one. 2 years into the cycle, we got to 4, and it was a little bit more enticing. But I don't remember us ever really saying the price, though. I don't remember us discussing that so much.
Yeah, I mean, because, here's the thing. It's like, I feel like part of the reason why the Pro is expensive as it is because they don't look at Microsoft as much competition, which, to be honest with you, I think that's probably why they didn't care about selling Death Stranding to Kojima and, letting it end up on Xbox, right? I just don't think they look at Xbox as that anymore. So, that's unfortunate. But also, I think, it's like 4K was a huge deal last generation, right? Like it exploded. You could get a 4K TV for a few $100, right? It's like, and that popped up in the middle of the generation, right? So it was really kind of, to me, what was cool about that was, and I think games, because I have a really good 4K TV now. It's like really, really good, but it's, but back then it was like cool because I bought a 4K TV, I bought a Pro, I bought an Xbox One X, and I was blown away by that stuff. Like I remember playing, like Forza Motorsport 7, or there was the Assassin's Creed that came out then. It was like they were like native 4K. I think Red Dead 2, that looked gorgeous on the One X, man. It was like native 4K. It was like the only platform you could play it that way, right? It was like, it was gorgeous. It was incredible. And I think that's like, for people that are looking for that experience, it's a good kind of thing to kind of look into. I think it's a real expensive thing. I don't think it's probably going to do as well as the PS4 Pro did, but I think that it's obviously an option there, and then we'll see what happens. If people buy it, we'll probably get another one. If they don't, they might not. It'll kind of depend. But would I recommend it to somebody just that's kind of a casual? Nope. I would recommend it to somebody that's a hardcore gamer that wants that has a good TV, a good setup, and wants to get the most out of their console experience. For sure. Because still, getting that like experience from a PC would be a lot more, and probably more complicated. And again, I just think that I like the easeability, and I'm a physical guy too. I mean, I buy a lot of digital stuff too, but I'm kind of weird in the fact that I'll buy the digital stuff sometimes, and then sometimes I'll see like the same game that I already own digital, and I buy that shit physical too.
Same.
When it's on sale or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. When Black Friday, I'll buy a second copy. I'm like, oh, this is my loaning copy.
Oh, yeah, I got a shelf full of like unopened shit because I have it digital because I prefer to have the physical copy. And then I like collector's editions, man. I like statues and getting all that shit. I miss the like the stuff you used to get into when you would open a game. You get a manual and all that kind of stuff. I miss that
come
stuff.
on, crap! Now you're really going down nostalgia alley.
Dude, remember when they used to have like helpful stuff in the manual back in the day, like on Nintendo and stuff? Like, oh, this is what this is called. This is what this is, like these big old thick manuals. And I can remember, like, I bought The Witcher 2 on Xbox 360 day one, and it was a console exclusive, and it came with this thick ass manual, and I was like, holy crap. You know what I mean? It really was, like, I was like, man, I haven't seen that for a long time. But, it was really cool to see that,
It is. Go ahead, DC.
I always think back, because I'm super obsessed with Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy 8 has it has two instruction booklets. One instruction booklet tells you how to play the game, and the other one is a little mini strategy guide that explains how to get to the first dungeon and how to beat the first dungeon. So, like, if you bought that and you'd never played an RPG, it kind of like explains, like, all right, they're going to tell you to leave the town, so fucking leave the town. I miss those days of just, like, I don't know, real cool instruction manuals with full color pages and diagrams, and that ain't ever coming back.
No,
that's gone.
Never.
No, if they're not going to put handles on the console boxes, we're not getting manuals anymore. Shout out to Cloud Strife for that great question. I appreciate it. Moonshot says, just got my Pro today, and I don't know what's sweeter: Xbox first party Black Ops 6 Pro enhanced, or Death Singer's PS5 Pro tiers. Blessed day. Hey, Moonshot, take it easy on the great Death Singer. But I think a lot of people in the console space miss Death Singer. They want Singer back in the console space. They just miss you. They miss you.
What about me?
It's Moonshot. He says Xbox first party Black Ops 6 Pro enhanced on his PS5 Pro, or Death Singer's PS5 Pro tiers. He wasn't sure which was better today. I don't think Death Singer has any tiers. So I will defend Death Singer on that.
Oh, no. I mean, Black Ops 6 is running beautiful on my PC. Like, I mean, I don't know what issues you got. Also, by the way, I kind of, did you pay the full price for yours? Oh, you did, because you're on the PlayStation.
Jeez,
right.
Here we go. You're
gonna so not only did I get Black Ops 6, I can also get a takeaway afterwards or something.
If you want to save money, get a hold of Death Singer. He will show you how to game at a great price. I guarantee it. Lotus is Spree. We haven't seen Lotus here in a while. Lotus, thanks for the super chat. He says, I'm extremely impressed with the Pro's graphics. Saints Row 4K at 60 on LG G4. That's his TV that he must have. It's an LG G4. Is absolutely amazing for me. I am having a blast tonight. Shout out to Lotus. I appreciate that. Manny, thanks for the subscription. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel. Andy Hart, he says, be interesting to see if Pro improves PSVR 2. That's a question we should talk about.
On the list.
It does, yeah. They already said so.
Do you guys have that list by chance, or whether it's
Horizon? Hold on, that
Resident Evil is one of them as well, right? Resident Evil.
That
Village
kayak VR game. Let's see, kayak VR Mirage. Let me see here.
There's a game that releases today, and crap knows, I've never been a big fan of the actual other ones. I own all those games, the Metro series, but the one thing that I've been looking for on PSVR 2 is the closest thing to give me like the Half-Life Alyx, and I'm not comparing the two, so everybody calm down. I'm not comparing the two. but the Metro Awakenings that came out today, crap, is that on the list? Because it's odd that it comes out the day that the PS5 Pro comes out.
I don't see it on the list.
Here, 1 second. I saw the master list. Let me see. The one I saw, there was one on Reddit, and they listed out all the PSVR 2.
I'm wondering, just because I believe it or not, I'm probably going to pick that up.
Okay, yeah, I found a list on uploadvr.com. Let's see here. Cube VR, Kayak VR,
Yes.
No Man's Sky VR is upgraded.
Yes, it was. That I
Arcane
saw.
Age, Subside.
What
So
a
that's
comeback story for that No Man's Sky, huh?
No Man's Sky. What a success story it is, crap.
Hey, yeah, I mean, Mooch, remember 10 years ago we were making fun of that with the Jurassic Park thing? Because it was so bad.
True, right? The kazoo.
Right? Yeah, it was horrible.
The other three games is Gran Turismo 7, Resident Evil 4 Remake, and Resident Evil Village also get PlayStation 5 Pro boosts to VR2, which I heard somebody say that Gran Turismo 7 in PSVR 2 with the PS Pro update looks extra crazy. Just like looking out the side of your car and seeing the reflections of it and everything.
Well, I got to be honest with you. I heard even without the PS5 Pro, PSSR being implemented and things of that nature, What didn't GT7 just get a 120 frame? I don't know, some sort of major upgrade. I saw people posting pictures of it, and they said just the Pro's power alone with this latest, not upgrade, but just update, has really changed things. So shout out to God Emperor Sofa King, who always very, very salty. He says, imagine paying $700 for mid Alan Wake 2 like dog water on the Pro. Imagine paying $700 to get the worst performance. I didn't hear anything about the worst performance on Alan Wake 2, but
I recorded in my video today. I put a bunch of Alan Wake 2 footage. I thought it looked freaking great, especially the new the ray tracing.
Yeah, I thought
because I platinumed Alan Wake 2, and the new DLC, there's like this elevator of mirrors, and I went in there on purpose in my video and turned on the ray tracing, and so there's multiple reflections. I mean, they're of course going to be better on PC, obviously, but I'm still saying like the reflections are really freaking good for a console.
That's what I thought too. I did not think that was a I don't know, for some reason I thought Alan Wake 2 was getting praise for its PS5 Pro. I didn't see anything bad, but then again,
the main thing that people are upset about that I think is completely valid is the ray tracing mode is 30 FPS, and it's not even a good looking 30 FPS. So it's the kind of thing that I feel like you turn on like a gimmick of like, wow, this looks great. All right, time to actually play the game. Let me put it back in performance mode, which I do think sucks. There's almost everything else on the Pro. You're choosing to have like frame rate and graphics, whereas on Alan Wake 2, you're definitely having to pick and choose, which does suck.
Yeah. No, so let's do this, guys. We did, and by the way, let me not take the microwave. How about that? I'm starving to death. I gotta eat after this. The microphone from anybody. If anybody has any more PS5 Pro stuff, which we will come back to, but I do want to kind of talk about a couple other topics here. And crap, me and you were kind of going back and forth this morning on Twitter, now known as X. I have to feel like I have to keep saying that every single time. I wish you would just go back to Twitter. Anyway, Death Stranding goes to Xbox, and I had put a couple of... the minute the news broke, I put a couple of... I even wrote, this is just my initial thought. I could definitely be wrong. But, so Death Stranding's going to Xbox. Kojima Productions buys back the IP from Sony. And so it seemingly crap, what I'm thinking here, you tell me if you think I'm wrong, I think that you're going to see Death Stranding 2 probably be a timed exclusive on PS5.
I mean, they're working on it for PS5 only. I mean,
right?
That's
so it's a given.
While
but
later,
the thing that I saw that was interesting too, because that, like me saying that to you, like, yeah, so what, Mooch? Big deal. The thing I also saw was Kojima Productions. Part of the other parts of the story that were they were loosely written in the fact that it didn't sound like it had a whole lot of meat on the bone. But like, to be honest with you, crap, they said that game that Kojima was working on for Xbox, I think it was called OD.
Overdose,
and what's the other one called for PlayStation? Sphint? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, it's basically Metal Gear Solid, according to the leaks.
Well, he's apparently asked he wants ownership of that back from Xbox, and then ownership of the other game from PlayStation. So he'll have Death Stranding, OD, and he'll have, if it is OD, I don't even know. I think I saw that in a press release, and Synth back all under his production with his ownership. Crap, what do you think about that when you see that? Is that him,
I think probably Microsoft was going to not make OD exclusive anyway. So, I think letting him have the IP, I don't think that's a problem for them. When it comes to Sony, like I said, it could be because they don't look at things as competition anymore. And so they kind of lax on that a little bit more going forward to maybe save a little bit of money. I don't know. But it's like, for me, it's always annoying because that's running on a PlayStation proprietary engine. You know what I mean?
Yes,
that's sort of weird. That's sort of weird to me to see it now. I haven't seen any screenshots. Or does it look good on there or whatever?
I have not. I mean, I just saw the usual suspects being like, "Oh, it's on Xbox. I'm going to play it now." A couple people reached out to me. I said, "Do me a favor. Send me your final achievement on that when you beat the game."
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck.
It's only $20. So I mean, hey.
Well, the dollar amount's right. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. If you want to try it or whatever, I think that's cool. Like I said, I think it's a little weird the way that they kind of here, surprise. It's but I also don't like it. Just like as a console guy, like I'm not a fan of like confusing people a little bit. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. It's just like I get that we're in the know because we podcast and we know, but it's like I don't like this whole thing where people start being confused as to what's on what or what's staying on what, or you know what I mean? I don't like, because I think you have to have different consoles that have their own unique experiences, and that's competition. It's like if you start having shit where you could have people just not buying enough. Like I like to buy all the stuff for the for the different things, and it's like
right.
I could see people not buying. Like a lot of people do that. It's like because you want to play the different experiences or whatever. And I would hate to see that kind of.
I don't know who it was. Crap, it was somebody just random. I just was scrolling through X today, and somebody was like, I can't see this being serious, but it seemed like they were serious. They were like, damn, I just bought a PS5 and I'm on chapter 7 of Death Stranding, and if I had known that, I wouldn't have bought the PS5. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, so PS5 is $500, right? Even if you get a digital one for $400, and then you bought that game, he didn't own it prior, so he couldn't do the $10 upgrade for the director's cut. So you spent anywhere from $40 to $60 for the game. So you spent anywhere from $460 to $560 to play Death Stranding. I'm not really buying that right now. I don't know.
I mean, why would if you really wanted to play it that much? That was that game's 5 years old. It was like a PS4 game.
Yeah.
So
no,
I don't get it. Maybe Sony just wants to focus on their own stuff more. You know what I mean? I mean, that's probably not like a huge sell. I don't know how much did they say that game sold, but I think it was also on sale and all that kind of stuff.
I think the number it sold fine. I don't think it did, gangbusters. I don't think it is insane. DC, what do you think when you hear this? Is this something? And Mag, I want to go to you on this because I think Mag's probably got some dirt on this. But DC, what do you think when you hear this? Is this going to be a situation where is this where Kojima? A lot of people were saying this is. Now that Kojima's gotten his enterprise, Kojima Productions is a thing. It's a big thing. Mm-hmm. People know about it now. Listen, Kojima, they always knew about, but now Kojima Productions, and he's got Norman Reedus. He's hanging out with Norman Reedus. He's hanging out with all, he's in Hollywood now. He's big time, and rightfully so, by the way. I like him for his artistic ability. I understand people may say that his games don't always hit 100% with me either, but I like people that make games that are artistic, even sometimes where I have to play the game twice, and I'm like, What did he even mean by that? But my point being is do you think now that he's I'm using the word flex, that sometimes comes off negative. I don't mean that. I just mean that I think at this point he probably went to them and said, listen, I'm at a point right now financially I can do this. I have the means of making great games with my team. I want to kind of be that third party guy now. Or I mean, because I thought him and Sony had a really, really tight relationship.
I think it's kind of the Taylor Swift situation where at the start she was broke, so she did some album deals, and then she made so much money she bought her own licensing back, and then started doing Taylor's versions where she was re-releasing a bunch of her albums.
Yeah.
I'm not a Taylor Swift fan at all, but I always thought that was kind of genius, like how she would purposely drop in to streaming services for a bit and then take them out so you'd want to go buy her new album and stuff. I think Kojima, on the back end, it seems like the games aren't selling, insano Call of Duty numbers or whatever. But financially, clearly he's doing something super, super smart. Like, I'm not sure if, like Crap said, putting it on sale and stuff like that, it's like helping get second win sales and stuff, the deluxe edition. I think this is a really, really good move on his part. I think Overdose... I'm not sure if anybody else saw the leaked gameplay of that. There's a very funny video of what looks to be a fat guy sitting on his couch filming the screen of top secret footage, and then when the gameplay ends, you just see the fat guy sitting in his underwear like, oh, and he like shuts the camera off. But that game looks very, very promising, and I think maybe it's that kind of thing where he was like, okay, if I'm making a new Metal Gear Solid, I want to put this everywhere. All right, if I'm doing a new horror game like PT Demo, I want to put this everywhere. And he probably did it with the math guys. Went, okay, can I afford to buy back all these licenses? Then screw it, let's do it. Even if we have to foot the marketing ourselves, we're not going to have a state of play dedicated to it anymore. Let's do it. So, I don't know. I give him props for whatever 5D chess he's doing. I still think, even though I don't think I love every single Kojima game, I would say every single one is a masterpiece by the textbook definition of it. It is an finely crafted auteur weird adventure, so I'm curious to see what Death Stranding 2 looks like, and I'm curious about Overdose and all his other stuff.
The Taylor Swift IP analogy really does make sense. Why not him do that? He can do, and he can put it back. Now he's doing that same thing where he's not going to go ahead and put it back out. He already did a director's cut, for example, on PC. He did a director's cut on PlayStation, but now he's on he's on Xbox now, so he's going to be able to, put his toe in that pool, and he'll be able to do that with other IP. So I think that's interesting. That guys, can you correct my pronunciation of it? It's not Svint. What is it? Sint? The new game that he just at the last state of play.
Oh,
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't know. But anyways, that looked like it was a partnership between Sony and what they have in their studios, because Sony Studios, they making films. He loves filmmaking. He's really, really into that. Plus he adds that gaming aspect to it. So I thought it was a marriage made in heaven as far as what that possibly could be, but we'll see what happens there. Maybe he still owns the IP, but it ends up being a timed exclusive still. I mean, he did shake hands and hang out with Herman Hulst on stage there for a bit during that broadcast. So we'll see what happens. I'm not sure. Meg, anything on your front with this? I mean, what do you think? I mean, or is this just Kojima coming into his own?
You know what? This is carefully crafted and calculated. I think that what he's done is exactly what DC was just saying, is that when it comes to the point where what you're going to have to do, you're going to get the funding required to get your IP off the ground, right? Whether that's Sony, whether that's Microsoft. And that's exactly what he's done on both sides, literally, right? And then what ends up happening, you build up a small empire from there. You get your Kojima Productions. Let's not forget that he left Konami, right? So now you're starting on your own. He's always going to have his financial backers, which he does, and then trying to make his ties into Hollywood, which he has. And then that also increases your clout in terms of being able to have more investors, right? To be able to put money towards your next project or whatever to help you get, crowdfund and this and that. So this is all something that I could absolutely see. And then he gets to a point where either he made a deal initially to say, okay, you know what, in 5 years' time, I have the option to buy back my IP or whatever else. It's no skin off Sony's back because it's not their studio.
That's right.
It's not their IP. What they've done is that they've utilized that exact product in order to move consoles and to move game sales into their ecosystem anyway. So it didn't really make a difference. Yeah. So for them, it was beneficial for both Kojima and it was beneficial for Sony, and same with Microsoft, because you know all the buzz that happened after Kojima has always been sort of tied into with Sony, or at least have been associated with Sony more so than Microsoft. Then all of a sudden he makes a deal with Microsoft for a new game. That gets a lot of buzz, right? Gets a lot of people talking about, you know what I mean? That Kojima's now working with Xbox and blah, 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 blah. So these are all buzzwords that get people going and get their, get the investors' monies loosened out of their pockets a little easier, right?
Yeah.
And then what you do from there, then you start after, let's say, your 5 years or whatever else, then you start to buy back your IP. The game came out 5 years ago, did it not? 2019?
Yeah,
is that when it came out?
I want to say yes.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go. That sounds about right to me. 5 years is your standard contract when it comes to being able to purchase your own purchase your own IP, whether it's a film, whether it's music, whether it's books, written word, or whether it's a video game.
That's a good point.
That sounds about right to me. So there you go. And I mean, this is no accident that it happened around this time. Astro Cyborg, you scumbag! Sorry, he's already quote tweeted me already on Twitter.
Oh yeah,
I swear to God, that guy's got no fucking life. Anyways, so anyhow,
impressive.
Dude, the guy just follows me and just waits for me to say something. It's unbelievable.
I know.
Trust me, I know how that feels, brother.
I pay no attention to him, but it's kind of funny.
That's what, man. I just stop. I post videos, and if someone wants to clip my video, then at least even the haters will have to go watch the video. So I've stopped tweeting and stuff where I'm like, all right, if you hate me, go watch a video.
No, he just watches me on YouTube. Him and some other guy, they just clip me like every single week about something I say. It sucks always being right. I know. Sorry. I'm picturing me doing the De Niro thing from Analyze This, grabbing my crotch, going, he go, hey, clip this. But anyways, that's what I see, and that makes absolute sense. It makes absolute sense to me. So then eventually, this OD game, I see that he would walk away. He's going to walk away with that IP as well, and then Kojima Productions is going to be good to grow. He is growing this studio organically. He is doing it slowly. He's doing it in a very intelligent way that makes a lot of sense to me, and that is how you build a small empire. And then, of course, like I said, just like you said, actually both of you guys said, is that he's rubbing elbows with the elite in Hollywood. This is not a mistake. This is not by accident. And I know he says, oh, I've always wanted to make a Hollywood movie. Okay, that's cute. So do I. I want to make a Hollywood movie too, but he's not doing it for that reason. He's not doing it for some childhood thought. He's doing this because this is where you network, right, towards getting your investors for the future. And that's what I see him doing. But either way, I don't think it's that really big of a deal. Again, like I said, it's already been 5 years. As for Death Stranding 2, I have absolutely no idea where this is going to, how long that's going to go before it ends up somewhere else, or multi-plat, or he ends up owning that IP entirely. Now, when you say he owns the IP, is he talking about the first one or the entire Death Stranding series?
That's
good, my question.
I would listen. So I'll go ahead and assume she shouldn't do. Right? You can't talk in absolutes on the internet, but I would say that he probably has. If you're going to have Death Stranding, he probably has the whole thing. I would say that, like Crap had mentioned, and Crap had to leave a few moments ago, but he just mentioned that they have been exclusively developing it for and on. Right. You can see he's got pictures of him holding the PS5 controller. He's been doing this. So, listen, even if he owns 2, it'll seemingly be at least a time exclusive on PS5.
He will not say a word about it going anywhere else.
No.
Because I would imagine at that point, because the development of this game has been exclusively tied to Sony and the PlayStation, even if he does own the IP, they're going to say, "Hey, listen, we still have X amount of time before you even open your boosh about this thing."
Yeah.
Okay. Because at that point, because then it's going to hurt the possible sales of that for the future, and you know what I mean. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it wasn't a monster IP. It's not Metal Gear, but it's still something. So that if you're only able to say, "Hey, did you guys really like?" And that's actually, it's funny, in a very indirect way, that actually could bring more people to PlayStation, because now that the Xbox people who have not played Death Stranding, let's say they only own the one console, let's say they played Death Stranding, came out today, right? And they go, "Wow, I really like that." And then Sony comes around the corner like the salesman with the trench coat with all the watches in there.
Watches.
Oh, if you like that, he opens the jack and goes, "You can get a PS5 so you can play part 2."
Part 2.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you don't want to wait 3 years, do you? Yeah, exactly.
You want to wait 3 years like Death Singer? No.
Trading that dusty Xbox Series X, you can get a Pro.
No one's waiting. What are you doing?
I'm just busting your balls because I'm thinking about GTA. But anyways, in all seriousness, if they say, "Listen, if you really, really liked it, you could play part 2 exclusively on the PlayStation." And some people, not everybody, but there might be a percentage of people out there who will actually do that, right? So, I mean, it's a possibility. In an indirect way, you're also guiding people towards your console, and then, Xbox could do the same thing, but that's a story for another day. But either way, Mooch, DC, Death Singer, whoever sells is still here. I got to go, guys.
I got to go too. I'm hungry as hell.
Well, what stinks is, let me do one speed round. You guys, one quick answer. Dreamcast guy, I'll start with you. I got to ask you, okay? Everyone's talking about it. Switch 2, backwards compatibility. Big deal?
Yeah.
Yes, right?
I think that was make or break. 100%, I'm going to sound dramatic here. If that was not backwards compatible, I think it would have had a disastrous launch. I think that was not optional, because the install base, I think you remember all the numbers that came out, like the attach rate of the Nintendo Switch, like every person that buys a Nintendo Switch, even casual people, buy like 20 freaking games. If you told them, "Hey, the next Nintendo Switch doesn't play the 20 games you have," I feel like that would have been an absolute catastrophe. I'm glad they did it, because if not, it would have been a failure that would have been studied in marketing school for decades.
Absolutely. The one thing, so Meg, I'll ask you the obvious question, same thing. Like Dreamcast guy was just saying a second ago, everyone was so excited. I saw video after video after video after video. How can Nintendo not have backwards compatibility? I mean, listen, majority of the games, DC and Crap are just talking about how they buy physical and they'll buy digital a lot of times, especially when they're referring to like PlayStation or Xbox games. But Nintendo, I don't know about you guys, I'm like 70-30 physical. Like I buy everything Nintendo physical. I don't know what the hell is with me. Everything else is digital. And I'm buying physical over there just because of the nostalgia. So, I mean, Meg, were you surprised? I probably would have been furious for the first time in the gaming community if I found it wasn't back compat.
Yeah, the thing is with Nintendo, they have a long history of not utilizing that. And you know what? We just saw with the Switch, this current generation. I hate to say that it's current generation because it's been so long. But this current generation, what did they do? The first half of this generation, actually, never mind the first half, I would say even up to the first 6 years of this generation, they were releasing Wii U games repackaged as Switch games.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
You know what I mean? And
that's
so like they had like all these Mario games, and I'm looking at them, and I never purchased the Wii U, but I did have a Wii, obviously, and then I skipped right to the Switch. And the funny thing is, I see all these Mario games and all these other games. I'm like, these come out. I didn't even hear these games were in development. That's great. And I bought 1, 2, 3 of them, and my kids are playing them, and I'm playing them, and we're playing 3D Mario, this and that, whatever. And and then you look very carefully in the top corner, and it says that it was a Wii game. Right? So they don't get like you'll see it on the box, and it actually says, it'll say that it was a Wii game or a Wii U game, and then it was repackaged basically as a Switch game. No upgrades, no anything else. It was just done like that. And I'm like, You sneaky buggers. So I understand exactly what they were doing. So, whether back compatible or not, it's something that they have not really embraced up to this point. However, they're going to have to, and it's going to be something that's going to happen because when they start adopting third-party games, like Microsoft games are going on there. Microsoft Teams, I know right now at Xbox Game Studios, they have switched to developer kits they've been working with for the last, I can't say how long, but they've been doing it for a bit, and they've got those systems over there. They're working on that. What's going to happen? You can't just cut them off and say, nope, you got to buy the next Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like, people are going to want to carry over some of those games into year after year after year. And some of those games as a service or otherwise, they're going to be ones that are going to happen. As people's digital libraries grow, you're not going to cut off someone's digital library because it's not compatible with the new system. It's absolutely, it's lunacy to think that's even feasible. So in that respect, I think they're going to have to just bite the bullet on that and understand that this is the way that it's going to be in the future, as a digital future is more and more.
So, Mag, you ready prevalent. For this? You thinking spring 2025 and 400 or 500?
Easily 500. Easily 500. Easily 500. Easily 500.
I kind of think you're right, and that's because they know they can charge that. And I don't mean that being the normal Nintendo
nothing's
flexing.
Going down, Mooch.
Right, that's what I mean. It's just
you know what I mean.
Look at an
SUV cost $50,000 before the pandemic. Now they're $110.
Buddy,
you know what I mean? Eggs are triple the price. Rent is double. Mortgages are double.
A Honda Accord used to be an affordable car. It's $40,000 with nothing in it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. You know what I mean? This is what's happening right now.
Yeah,
so
I know.
To think that the technology is not going to keep going up in price. I'm not condoning it, by the way. Just don't get me wrong. I'm not condoning the raising of prices.
No.
However, this is a reality, unfortunately, that we live in, and the tech is not getting any cheaper because I don't care what anybody says. There is still a strain on the supply chains. There's still a strain that may change with the new leadership coming out in 2025, particularly for the United States. We shall see. But I'm not really 100% sure. I don't know what's going to happen, but there is still a strain there. And as a result, they're utilizing that, even if it's ever so slight, they're utilizing that to take advantage and raising prices.
I'm just
technology. Same thing with food, same thing with
see where you're coming from. I just think that it comes down to, you're seeing Xbox, they have their 2 terabyte, the one that's, got sparkles on it. That one's like $600. And then they have the PS5 Pro, which is $700. I don't know where the PS6 or the next Xbox will land price point wise, but they know that they can go in that $600 threshold right now.
Of course they can.
So if they know that,
easily
and this thing, and this new Switch is only going to cost them, let's say it costs them $330, $400. Like, they can charge $500 or $550 or whatever. I just think that they can make that money, and they know it now because the market is somehow allowed it. I don't think anyone's happy about it though.
No, and the other thing is at the end of the day is that the wages aren't going down, production costs aren't going down. They're not going anywhere.
No, they're not.
In fact, it's heading for a crash course, to be quite honest. Eventually, there's going to be a crash in the labor market because what's happening is people are getting paid way too much. And what's ended up happening is in North America specifically, and people say, oh, that's nonsense. I'm just telling you. I'm not agreeing with it. I'm just saying that wages are getting too high. They're ballooning to the point where that's why people start adopting it. And you don't think they're all going to be, especially the redundant jobs, are going to be replaced by AI? They absolutely will, to save that money.
Yeah.
However, does that mean that they're going to lower the price? Not a goddamn chance. Like, for example, they used to charge us more money for a physical copy of a video game. Why? Because they had to press the disc. They had to ship it out to whatever company was doing all that. They had to make packaging. They had to buy plastic. They had to buy paper for the actual cover art and everything else, right?
Yes.
Then they start selling us the fucking game on, excuse my language, on digital, and they charge us the same price.
It didn't
cost them anything.
That's what they used to say. It'll cost less because
we don't have the case. We don't have to have the shipment.
Yeah.
It'll be cheaper because it's digital. You don't have to pay for all that stuff. Did it ever get cheaper?
No, it didn't.
Not a chance, my friends.
It went up.
Actually went up in price.
Went up.
Can you imagine us? We're paying more now for something that's costing them practically nothing other than a click of a mouse.
Yeah.
I mean, if you told me 10 years ago the prevalence of digital deluxe editions, like, what a horrible fucking series of words. Digital deluxe. Say, hey man, you're lucky enough to only get it digitally.
Right. Isn't it wild? And what does it cost the company in order to be able to send that out? Essentially just a server, which everybody has anyway. The internet, basically, which everybody has anyway. So all those things that I had mentioned about the cost that went into a physical product, they've actually not reduced the price one bit and send it to us digital.
Yeah.
And basically, who are the clowns paying it? All of us wearing the wigs and the red noses.
You're not wrong. Hey,
Okay.
so let me ask this question real quick, man, because you actually put it quite well. And Destinger, I'll go to you last because I already know how you feel about Nintendo. But DC, what is your take? Do you recommend people buying the new Mario and Luigi Brothership game? It's been getting some harsh reviews. One of the first times I can remember in a long time seeing anything with Mario and not getting like just praised. Is this something?
I've not seen a single second of footage. I've not seen a trailer. I've not seen anything. I did see all the scores, and I did see people like sending death threats to IGN or something.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, people were mad about the low review scores. Let me jump out of the call right here. I'll be honest. I'm about to gnaw off my own hand. I'm so starving. But I love you guys very much. Thank you for so much for having me on, Mooch. I just wanted to say to the odds, I've been having some bad mental health this year because I lost a couple of family members and stuff. Mooch talked to me a bunch of times. Just want to say you are truly a brother, man. I was up in New York a couple months ago, and I meant to hit you up, but it was like a 24-hour turnaround trip. But next time I'm in New York, I want to hit you up and we meet up and do pizza or something.
No, it's honestly, DC, great to have you on the show tonight. I know I always keep you, and you're an hour behind, so you literally goes right through dinner. But DC, keep up the great work. You know we're always a fan of you on the show. Have a great night. Appreciate you being here, DC, and we'll plug the channel at the end of the show.
Hell yeah. Y'all have a go and keep dreaming.
Thanks, DC. So I'll say this much. Mag, I know that, listen, I always like to pick up the new Zeldas, the new Mario Brothers. Guess what? This new Mario Brothers not getting a great review.
The fact that I'm not even hearing anything about it just means that it didn't move the needle at all.
It really didn't.
So I think it's a half-assed effort.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Shame.
It's a half-assed effort that's not really
well,
not even really deserving of the name Mario if nobody's talking about it.
No one's talking about it at all.
This is Nintendo's fault, to be quite honest, because like I said before, this generation has gone on way too long. They should have released the Switch 2 this year in the spring of this year. By delaying it another year, it's got to the point where everybody's Switches are basically just collecting dust.
Yeah,
and and to me, they've lost the momentum. And I mean, I understand they've destroyed everybody else. Let's face it. I mean, it came to console sales, whatever. Yeah. And it was like, but the other thing is too, though. I mean, it's kind of silly for people to. What year did that thing come out? The 2016? Is that when it came out?
It was 2017.
2017.
I'll look it up.
Oh, right, you're right. Okay, so everybody's like, "Oh, it outsold whatever Xbox by this many. It sold out, oversold PlayStation by this many." Well, sure, it had a 3-year jump,
right?
Almost a 4-year jump, and and a much cheaper price point. And you damn well know that they were putting those Switch lights in that.
Yes. Absolutely, it counts.
But you know what? It's basically become shovelware at this point. I know people who have 3-4 Switches lying around their house.
Yeah,
a couple of Switch lights that the kids step on.
And
the dogs.
It's funny you say that. I've got the OLED one that's under the main TV. That's the one we play for the most part. But I bought the light for the kids. They're like, oh, I'd love to have that on the go. That's literally just. I think it's a cat toy now. Yeah, it's like a boomerang or something now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
It's a waste of time and money at this point. And the thing is, they lost the momentum by going on way too long. And because they don't have that
interesting next year
movement from generation to generation like the other consoles do, like Xbox and PlayStation do, they have that seamless, thing where they're still going to support the other one, and then of course move on with the new one.
Yes,
and then keep the ecosystem alive and thriving. They just let it die.
They did. I have the way I feel. I got to be honest with you. You're the first person to say that. I haven't even seen it in writing on X. I'll just say I'm going to be very, very interested to see. I still think that when Switch 2 comes out, it sells like hotcakes. I don't know.
It's going to. It's going to. But I'm saying this generation at least killed the momentum of whatever they had left. So what I'm saying is between now and the Switch 2, anything that they release is basically just DOA.
Understood what you're saying there. Well, I appreciate it, Meg. Death Singer, can I just get your 2 cents on it? Because I know that you love Nintendo, don't you, Singer?
Oh, I absolutely love Nintendo. I can't wait to see what that Switch 2 emulation does.
I was waiting for that. Singer's like, let me just put on this pirate patch real quick. Everyone always says that when Singer says that. I said, I love Singer's take on Nintendo. He went on a Nintendo rant. It was probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. I thought it was great. He absolutely went to town on Nintendo. But listen, guys, I'll let the guys go. Everyone's got their PS5 Pros. Mags is probably sitting on the doorstep.
Nothing yet, man. Nothing yet.
You never know. Maybe the Ring doorbell didn't go off. You don't know, Mags. Sometimes they're, those are fraudulent. Sometimes so you'll just have it out there.
Mooch. There's nothing. I've been watching my cell phone.
Cameras, Mooch. Yeah,
I've been watching my cell phone the entire show in the corner. Every 10 minutes looking, I'm going, God damn it. I don't see anybody at the door. Well, it looks like it's going to come in the morning. So,
well, listen, let me do the outros for you guys. Let me say, go in reverse order here to the Mag. Mag, great to have you on tonight, buddy. Love that you were able to stay for the whole 2 hours. I was. Thursdays are tough for you. I understand that, so I do appreciate it. I want to say thanks again. Let people know where they can find you. And Mag, until next time, my friend, and I'll probably I hope to talk to you this weekend when you get your Pro.
You will hear from me as soon as I get that hooked up by tomorrow. You'll be hearing from me in the weekend.
That would be great.
Yes, it's always a pleasure being here on the show. I was able to stay for the whole show and then some. Mooched an extra 24 minutes out of me on top of that.
I did.
Hey, that's what you do. But you know what? You can follow me. You can find me on Twitter. My new channel is going to be launching. The Mag Show is coming very soon.
Yes.
I'm just waiting on some visual art and stuff like that, and some things that are going into the channel. Of course, you can find me on XNC with Colt Eastwood every Monday, and we do that show. And other than that, you can find me, or you can find me on Twitter, Twitter X, where Astro Cyborg clips me daily. I think next time he's gonna get clips of me going to the bathroom, talking to my parents on the phone, anything. It'll all be on Twitter. So you guys, if you want to follow my real life, Astro Cyborg's hiding in my closet, listening to everything I'm doing. So
he needs content. Anyways. It's content. The great Mag, everybody. Shout out to Mag. Mag, great to have you. That's your. I also appreciate you being here. Good night, Mag. That's I appreciate you being here as well, buddy. Love your takes. And honestly, I know a lot of times you'll write me sometimes during a show, Singer, and you'll say this is a very, very heavily console discussed podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll take it this week off. But Singer, you stayed here like a champ, and I appreciate that. I tried to go around the room. We had I had invited a lot of guests, and a lot of the guests shout out. I'm going to do around the. You don't have to stay for it either, Singer. I'm going to do a little bit of a plug for everybody at the end. But they came in and they gave their 2 cents on what they were experiencing with the PS5 Pro in the past 5 to 10 hours they've had it. It was great to have everybody on. But Singer, I love when you're on here. I love your takes on gaming because yes, you are a PC gamer, but you do keep your ear to the ground. You're in many Discords. You play a lot of games. You know what you're talking about. So Singer, great to have you here tonight. Let people know where they can find you, and I do appreciate you staying the whole 2.5 hours.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You can find me at Death Singer everywhere, playing games, playing a variety of games, maybe chopping up on Call of Duty lately. But yeah, it's always a fun time. The chat loves me. I mean, what can I say? I'm a celebrity. Certified home name. They couldn't watch this show without me, Mooch.
I know that. We all know that. Listen, you're growing on the audience. I'm telling you right now, you're growing on the audience. Great to have the great Death Singer here. Now I have to just go by my memory here because I do have the folks that were scheduled for the show, but we had so many great special guests pop by. So I'll just go real quick here. Brap couldn't make it. He was under the weather, guys. Brap will hopefully be back next week. He was not feeling well. But shout out to Brap. It's Brap_podcast. And then shout out to Forte, who stopped by as well. The great gaming Forte. It was awesome having Forte. And we had a hell of a show tonight. I think we had almost 10 panel members at one point. It was really, really great. Shout out to that's at gaming_Forte. Guys, he's over doing DPS right now with the great Slow-Mo Backslap, who was on 2 weeks ago. So go over and check those guys out as well. The great Gaming with Persona, guys. Gaming with Persona was on tonight. Shout out to Persona for stopping by. Guys, go over and check out What's Up PlayStation. Saturday mornings, 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's where I start my Saturdays. I recommend you guys do the same. The great TCMF had to go. He goes, Mooch, Mike, remember you guys, he was saying he was having some technical difficulties with his PS5 in his audio. He goes, I got some audio difficulties. I got to go. So I go, TC, go take care of your stuff. So shout out to the TCMF. Great to have him as well. Also, the great Jez. Well, hopefully, it's so funny because my streams have been just absolutely. I think it's time for a new PC for Mooch. This one here is just absolutely buggy sometimes. So I apologize, guys, if there's a little glitch in the matrix there. But shout out to the great Jez7780 who stopped by the Gaming Grindhouse. He did a show just before here doing an unboxing. It was fantastic. fantastic. Hopefully, I did not forget anybody. We already talked about Mag. We had DC on. Dreamcast guy did his outro already. The Great Crap Gamer. It's _Crap Gamer, and it's Crap Gamer Reviews over on YouTube. Hopefully, I got everybody. And Detective Seeds. Detective Seeds stopped by on the road. So shout out to the great Detective Seeds. Really appreciate him being here. He wasn't even home and called in on the phone. That being said, guys, hit the like button. Thank you so much for the super chats. You guys are all great. Appreciate the people that subscribe to the channel. Guys, hit that sub button, hit that like button. We'll be back next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. Going to have another great show for you. Tonight was fantastic. What a great gaming night on CrossFire. Really, really great. Enthusiastic about the new consoles. We'll have a little bit more to say as we have another week to play through with the new system. Again, that being said, shout out to all you guys out there, you Mooch Maniacs. I see RPG88, Claymores, Brian East, Capone. I see all you guys out there. The great Jay Bari as well. Shout out to the great Jay Bari. We'll see you guys next week. Peace out, game. And enjoy your new console if you got it. We'll talk about it next week. Peace out. Good night.